Good morning, everyone, and it is hot as fuck out as usual. This whole week, 80 degrees plus, is just too damn hot. I'm ready for it to just cool off. I'm ready for fall, and I'm ready for all the pumpkin spice shit and the pumpkins and the haunted houses and all that shit. I'm just ready for that because this heat, kid, get the fuck out. Anyway, welcome back. Another Thursday morning, another wonderful episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast. A 2 to 3 hour conversation between two regular human beings caught in a world surrounded by technology that brainwashes us to be dependent on technology and which conditions us to not do things like have long, in-depth conversations like you're about to hear right now. But in this world, dude, we're all just like addicted to our cell phone. Every day you just subconsciously look at it. You just look at your fucking, and whenever I say you, I'm really talking about me because I am a terrible, terrible person whenever it comes to my cell phone. I just get lost in it. And, this podcast is an outlet for me and for the guests to be able to, kind of say, put that shit down for a little bit and actually like get back to like the roots and like have a conversation like face to face and, actually just talk and see how it goes, see where all the conversation goes. And nowadays, like, you don't really have opportunities to do that. But which brings me to my next point. One of my favorite episodes to date with the Pittsburgh legend, Billy Hoyle. Many of you know him by Billy Hoyle. I guess his other alias is Anthony Bowser, but I would assume that more people know him as Billy Hoyle. You've seen him behind the desk at Timebomb shop. You've seen him on your local corner with a 40 in his hand. You've seen him at all the local hip-hop shows, I'm sure. Just a very, very just like good person. Just always showed respect, would always say what's up. Someone that like learns your name and doesn't just like brush you off and shit. But yeah, dude, I've known him for a few years and we've known each other just like in passing. We didn't know each other very in depth, but I learned so much fucking shit about this dude, and it was blowing my mind, this whole conversation. But without further ado, episode number 34 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with the Pittsburgh legend, Billy Hoyle.
I gotta use the telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. That's that Apple exclusive shit. All right. Now, I tell people in the beginning, like, I'm sure you'll be fine with it, but like, if you're like drifting away, I'll just like motion it up. Okay. I could cut out whatever. Like, if you say something and you're like, yeah, I don't want to say that, I can just take a timestamp of it.
Okay. Word. Cursing's obviously all right, right?
Yeah.
I've watched like enough of them.
Yeah,
or listened to enough.
It's explicit material. You have to tell people that because like you have to put that on there because that's like one of the main things on Apple. And I guess that I was reading somewhere on Reddit that if you do make something and you don't put it as explicit, your shit will just not get accepted.
Really?
So, yeah, it's a weird fucking process to try to get like a podcast going. Like, you have to make like, I made like a fake episode where I had to like go on there and I was like, oh yeah, my name's Chad, like we're gonna do this fucking podcast, and you have to submit it and you have to wait a few days and they'll hit you back and be like, okay, you're all right. But like Spotify is real hard to get your shit on. Like I don't understand why, for as far as podcasts. I think that that's the only place that my shit is not available.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why that it's so weird, but like Drinking Partners.
Yeah.
I think that their shit just got on Spotify, or someone from Pittsburgh that does a podcast, their shit just got on Spotify, but it takes a minute, and it's just a fucking process that like you don't anticipate.
Yeah, see, like when me and Momon Adon dropped our last project.
Wait, how do you say his name?
Momon Adon.
Momon Adon.
Yeah, it's the spelling's a little different, but it was like a background character in Star Wars. It's like a hammerhead shark. Yeah,
that's dope though. I fuck with that.
He's super like Star Wars dude, like VHS. Like he has like I think they're called armoires or something like at his crib that has like all Star Wars like collectibles and stuff. Super dope.
He was at whenever they have that like Southside art crawl where like all artists get like a location to be there. He was at Threads.
Yeah, so I remember that.
Yeah, he was outside just like fucking spitting, and he was just going forever. And
he's a super good dude.
He's
a great rapper.
Listening to it, and I was like, Jesus. I was like, I've never even. I don't mean it, but like I've never heard of you before.
Yeah,
I bought both of his tapes. The one that you fucking did work on. What was that tape called? It had the crazy
Travel
artwork.
Through. Yeah, his boy Ronnie Hicks does all of his artwork. So that was our project together. Travel Through. That's on everything. I mean, but like the thing that surprised me about the podcast getting through is like there's different mediums and stuff for like artists. Like you basically just upload your shit and then like it gets it on everything.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like
websites.
DistroKid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You put it's like $20 a year for DistroKid.
I don't remember who was on here that told me that they were using that.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was Germ.
Yeah, I mean, you put something on DistroKid, you upload it, I mean...
And it takes care of all that shit for you.
Dude, it just, like, put it on there, you upload your artwork and everything, then it's on Tidal, Apple Music.
See, I use, are you familiar with Libsyn?
Nah.
Libsyn is like a sharing, like a hosting site, and you go on there and you buy, like... packages for whatever amount that you think you'll be using. So if you're only going to do a podcast like once a month, you don't need a big package. But like I put shit out every week and they're all fucking super long, so I have to buy like a big package. But you just put it out there and like you upload your artwork, everything. You could set everything, time it, and it all just pushes everything out.
Oh, word.
But it's pretty cool. I guess that a company in Pittsburgh just bought Libsyn. A guy that I know that worked for this company asked me, he was like, have you ever heard of Libsyn? I was like, yeah, I use that. He was like, well, it's going to be in Pittsburgh now, so you can call me if you need any help with it.
Okay, yeah, that's tight.
But it was all right. All right, before we get into this too much, you're taking a sip out of that Thug Jug.
Yeah,
What's in the cup?
What's in the cup?
That Turner's Premium Iced Tea, the Thug Jug, the HP special.
I've never heard of anyone calling it a Thug Jug.
Really?
Never in my life. So like I'll probably definitely be taking that.
Yeah, I can't even claim that as like probably like an HP thing. That's like, I think I got it from probably a friend from like Penn Hills or something.
HP is Holiday Park.
Holiday Park, yeah.
Holiday Park.
Plumboro.
That's where you hail from.
Yeah.
I haven't. You told me you don't drink iced tea too much now. I mean that Turner's a lot now.
Nah, yeah, I mean, for the most part, like a couple years ago, I cut out like pop and really switched to like seltzer water.
Yeah,
and water for the most part
exactly
when I'm not
what I
like
am.
binge drinking. You know?
Yeah, I haven't had Turner's in probably like probably longer than I've had a cigarette, and it's been almost 4 years since I had a cigarette. So like Turner's is definitely before that. But like I used to be a fiend, just like everyone. You would rip through a gallon in a night.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you would wake up and like wonder why like your mouth's sticky and like you can't breathe and stuff.
Yeah, while your kidneys are just throbbing and you're like, you're gonna probably die soon.
Oh, dude, that was a big thing for me. Like I definitely like I stopped drinking it for the most part, but like I slowed down probably in college because one of my buddies started getting like a ton of kidney stones.
Kidney stones, dude. I never knew anything about it.
I wasn't trying to mess with that.
I heard that they're fucking terrible.
Yeah, dude. Couple I had a few friends have those. I was just not trying to have ever.
I whenever I first started hearing about kidney stones, I had the image of like, seeing like a coffee grind like come out of your pee hole or something. But like, I guess it's like a grain of sand almost. Like,
really?
I guess that's what someone told me, but I'm sure that that's not right. But I definitely don't want kidney stones.
Yeah. And then so like I haven't had it probably like sparingly in years, but a few months ago, like I worked downtown. One of the 7-Elevens by us downtown had it on fountain.
On a fountain?
Oh, man. Yeah, I guess they're starting to do that at some 7-Elevens.
I started seeing that on Snapchats and everything.
Yeah.
And I've not seen one anywhere yet.
The one 7-Eleven down on like 6th. Yeah, 6th and Penn downtown had it. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's weird.
How is this like?
Is it better in a fountain?
I haven't had it yet.
Okay.
I didn't try it, but I mean.
Everyone always says like, like a fountain Pepsi, whenever I did drink pop, a fountain Pepsi from Taco Bell was like the elite. It was like the elite of anything that I could have ever wanted. But that was definitely better than like a can or a bottle Pepsi.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that they're fucking making them out of taps.
Yeah, dude. It caught me like I saw on the window walking by that it said that, and I was like, somebody probably just made like
we got Turners on tap.
Like somebody probably just made stickers to like throw up, and then I think it might have been Mayo or Hubs.
Yeah,
it was like Mayo's just
he's a Turner's tea fiend.
Yeah, and then Hubs is from Penn Hills, which,
yeah,
Turner's out of there. So one of those two or both of them posting it, and I was like, oh shit, I actually have to look.
Me and him have been trying to link up for like 2-3 months.
Maya?
No, Hubs.
Yeah,
okay. It's just like the last time I tried to link up with him, my fucking car just wouldn't start or some shit, and I was like, bro, I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. That's what you get for driving a beat ass car. But he'll be on here soon enough.
Yeah, me and him are working on some stuff right now. Definitely been getting shit down.
Yeah, that's dope. So you said you grew up in Plum.
Yeah.
Are you born and raised in Plum?
Yeah, my grandparents raised me in Holiday Park.
Now, I have a little connection with Plum now. My wife is from Plum, obviously, but like I never knew of it beforehand. So like I ask everyone like what their childhood was like growing up in their school district, because like some people, for instance, like Antoinette said she hated school. She was like, I didn't fuck with high school whatsoever. But there's people like me. I fucking loved high school.
I loved high school.
Yeah, and I think that like I could have guessed that you were someone that liked high school. I think that if you were like like a talkative, like funny, if you had any sort of those qualities, you were gonna enjoy high school at some point.
Yeah, I definitely didn't start coming out of my shell until high school. Like elementary school, I was definitely more secluded.
Like what kind of shit did you do?
I played sports. Like,
okay.
I played basketball, football, soccer, baseball, and ran track like my whole life. Like,
really?
Yeah, in junior high, I would go like I could play soccer and football. Like, because I came up playing midgets, so I started playing football when I was like 5 years old.
I had no idea you were some athlete.
Yeah, I had it well. And then, so like I played soccer for the junior high so that I could still play midget football. So I would go from soccer practice to football practice right after.
Jeez.
And then in high school, we would have a basketball open gym, then I'd go to football, or we'd have football practice and I'd go to cup soccer, or I'd have basketball practice, then go to AAU basketball practice.
So you played all this shit like the majority of your schooling.
Yeah. I also took karate.
Did you?
I have a black belt in Aikido.
Do you really?
Yeah, which is just like defense martial arts.
Oh, I know what it is.
Yeah.
Now, wow, when did you get that?
I started when I
Holy
was like,
fuck, this is blowing my mind right now. You're like, I played fucking high-lie, field hockey.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did a lot. My grandparents kept me busy for sure. That was like one thing they like really wanted to do.
That's hilarious. Aikido black belt.
Yeah.
Now, how old were you whenever you got this black belt?
Probably like 15.
And when did you start doing it?
When I was like 4, 5, 6, like right around that.
Really? You did it for that long?
Yeah, actually, like,
wow.
I'm going to refer to her as my sister throughout this, but she's actually my cousin.
That's fine.
But her mother and her father, like, helped raise me, so I always looked at her as a sister.
Yeah.
Her and her father started doing it, and I was like maybe just a little bit too young, and then I got into it at like the right age. So like as my sister was coming up, like, you know, she was getting more into cheerleading. Cheerleading's like super involved, dude. Like that takes up, you know, you can't miss anything for that. You get like demerits and shit. Yeah. And then, so like she kind of faded away from it like before she got that, and my uncle did too, but I kind of like stuck with it. And then I got that, and I started helping with classes for like a little bit, and then I was just kind of like washed from it. I was just like, I'm good.
Now, are you a fan of like do you watch like MMA or anything like that?
Nah, I watch boxing occasionally, but like I never got into the MMA thing. Like the one thing I'll say about me is like I let fan bases ruin things for me before like I even give it a chance.
That's a good point. That's fine. Do you watch any sports regularly now?
I watch soccer, and like probably what I watch most is either like soccer or NBA.
Yeah.
Like I can't, like, I don't know. I grew up in a house where like my pap avid like Pittsburgh fan, you know what I mean? And it would be like, you know, I just like, it just always seemed way too serious to me for what it was. Like these are grown ass men getting paid way too much money to do something that like really as a kid, at least my idea of it was always like, you're trying to stay active, keep out of trouble, and develop like social skills.
Develop social skills and develop ways to be able to work with other people. Yeah. Teamwork and everything.
Yeah, there's problem solving that comes in that.
All sorts of things for sports.
So like when I started to get older, like I definitely watched a lot of sports when I was younger. But like, when people like I used to love NCAA basketball, but once those kids were like significantly younger than me, I was like, oh, this is, you know, I just like couldn't rock with it anymore.
It's weird.
And then pro, I was just like, I don't know, like my pal would be like screaming at the TV, like, and he loves the Pirates, so there was a lot of screaming going on a lot of the time, and I was just like, man, and my pap's like the greatest person ever. Like he's the best. If there's only like very, very few situations he ever gets upset, but like Pittsburgh sports is all of them.
So he's like a diehard, even if like the teams are terrible and shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, my grandma too. Like they're the ones that like they're typical like Pittsburgh sports fans, like Yinzer fans. Like
yeah.
You know, like the Buccos could win like 8 in a row and everything. They like next game they give up a run in the first inning. They're like, I knew it.
Yeah,
shouldn't even have watched. Like, you know, it's just
I cannot. I'm not a baseball guy.
I used to hate playing baseball.
I fucked with it playing it. Like I played. My dad was a coach for like. That's how I know like B. White and Mayo. It's like my dad coached them. My brother graduated both of them in McKeesport. My dad coached them for. You know, I was probably like 4 or 5. Like I was a water boy. So like. You know, years later, these fucking dudes turn into like local hip hop, like fucking legends, and it's just like, it just happens to be that I know who they are. So like, I fuck with them even heavier.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like my uncle was from McKeesport. He was like basically a second dad to me.
Yeah,
and he like knew I was real into hip hop, and like when I started working at Timebomb, everything, and he was interested in it, which was dope because he doesn't come from that world at all. You know, he was very like, you know, AC/DC type shit. You know, like
yeah.
His generation's music, but like I would show him like the 58s, B. White, Mayo, and everything. He loved it.
Yeah.
Especially when the videos were shot in McKeesport. Because he'd be like, oh, you know, he'd be pointing stuff out.
Because people were so passionate about McKeesport. And if you're from McKeesport, like you're in some sort of club.
Dude, yeah. I mean, like the illest thing you can say to someone from McKeesport, like you want to piss them off, say they're from White Oak. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, like you want to piss off someone from Penn Hill, say they're from Plum. You know, there's just like little shit like that.
They want to rep where they're from.
Yeah. You know, and like those other places look soft compared to them, which I get. Like,
for sure.
If somebody was like, you're from Murraysville, I'd be like, oh, fuck you, dog. Like, what do you mean? Like, nah, but yeah. And then like B. White's mom and, I mean, I call her my aunt. It's through marriage, but they're like best friends.
Yeah.
So I used to see B. White a lot, like that, like, yeah.
And it's easy to like to start fucking with someone that's from where you're from, but also is putting out just dope ass shit, like actual quality shit. And it's cool to be able to see like the realness video, him just walking through downtown McKeesport with like
absolutely
a whole crew of kids that like I just see that like, you know. and it's just fucking, I don't know, shit gives me chills because like it's sick to see that.
Yeah, it was great seeing them do that. I mean, they still do it, not to take away from them, like they don't anymore. But like there wasn't, at least I always felt this way, there wasn't like a sense of pride being from Plum.
Yeah.
Plum was always looked at like, you know, it was a lame place. Like it's like the epitome of suburbs, you know what I mean? The only diversity there is throughout the middle class. Like you have high middle class, you have like true middle class, and you have lower middle class. You know, there's no real diversity out there. I wouldn't say, you know, there's no culture. There's no pride. So like seeing them, seeing
but
them
like
dudes
the port
do
has
that.
like all different. Like you got like there's a project
Crawford, you know what I mean. You have Fawcett Plan,
and that's what it is. It's like there's so many different places that like, and if you ask people like where they're from, people won't say just like McKeesport. People will be like, I'm from Fawcett Plan, like I'm from.
Bro,
wherever.
that's where like saying HP, like I'm not from Plum. You know, I used to be like ashamed to say I was from Plum. And I was like, I'm just gonna fucking own it, dude. Like,
that's all you gotta do. It's like
I'm fucking cool. If people like me, then that's like fucking Plum's cool. Then like
that's like,
I mean, it isn't, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So like also like if you're playing, so back like full circle, you're playing all these sports and shit in school and everything. Like, were you nice at sports? You were all right. Like you,
I mean, like
starting?
I played. Yeah, I was, you know, letter winner and everything.
Yeah, so like
all
if you're,
section for every. I played AAU Cup.
No big
college,
deal.
But I mean, it wasn't because like
Young
there's
Billy
so many.
Hoyle.
There's so many people out here doing that. Like, I mean, everyone like nowadays, everyone plays AAU.
Yeah, for sure.
When I was playing AAU basketball, there was like PA Hoop Stars, and then I played for the Jots.
Yeah.
And then there was also a team, Pittsburgh's Finest, that, you know, I ran with for a little bit that was like Terrell Pryor, Jonathan Baldwin, Michael Shanahan, and like all these cats that like, I was like the only kid on there that like in 7th or 8th grade couldn't dunk. I was like one or two, like, you know what I mean? And it's like,
how tall are you?
Then?
How tall are you right now?
Like 5'10".
So like, I mean, you were young Muggsy Bogues back then, probably.
I was pretty tiny, and these dudes were like, you know, grown men. Like Terrell was dunking like 7 times a game.
Yeah, and he's fucking like what, 6'4" probably.
Yeah,
like,
he was
probably tall as fuck back then too. Yeah. He is. I remember being like, whenever he was still in high school playing at Jeanette, and like. Seeing the highlights and being like, this motherfucker will run all over people. You don't even need a team.
Well, and like the shady part about that was like he was playing double A. Yeah, like double or single. I can't remember what
Yeah, it's
was.
Like
they were double
A.
A.
A big fish in a small
you know
pond.
They're playing like, you know, Shady Side Academy. Not to take anything. You know, you had the Rooneys played there. My boy Vince Miller, like that. JT Taylor. They had a lot of athletes, but like as a full team, like you couldn't.
People like us, like I was in Elizabeth Forward, so like we were playing people like fucking TJ, who was sending people to the league every year.
Yeah. I mean, we're playing Gateway, Penn Hills, Sport.
So like it's the same deal. It's fucked up because that's quad A, right?
Yeah, we were quad. Now I think we might go up to 6A now. And
that's a thing.
Plum is 5A, or they go to 5A. I know they definitely a few years at least go to 5A.
How many people did you graduate with?
Like if it wasn't 400 some, it was close to 400 some.
See, that's like then Plum was definitely like double our size because I want to say
we were pretty big. Yeah,
I want to say we had like 245 people that I graduated with. For some reason, that number sounds like something, but it was super like I don't know. Like I said, full circle, it's like football. Like I played football forever, and it was just like if you were in school and you played sports, and like you were, there was more people that were like accepted if you were on like a sports team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird, but like I rolled with everyone. Like I was just like friends with like, you know, weird kids, like fucking the jocks, the fucking skateboard kids, and everything. So
yeah, I was very similar. Like I was in band too.
Were you?
Yeah, I played.
You're wild.
I was in band from 4th grade until I graduated.
What did you play?
So like what I really wanted to play was drums, like percussion.
Yeah.
You couldn't play that until 6th grade. So from 4th to 6th grade, I played trombone.
Really?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Like I kind of wanted to play. Like my sister played clarinet because she wanted to play saxophone, and I thought that was dope. Sax is dope, but I didn't want to play. I didn't want to play clarinet first, and then like I wanted to play trumpet, but it was like everyone was playing trumpet.
That was like default.
all right, I'm gonna rock with the trombone.
That's something that I never got into is like instruments, and like I regret it very much because like later in life, my brother started like fucking around with like piano.
Okay.
And like my brother used to be nasty playing like Kiss by a Rose and shit like that, Casey and JoJo and everything.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I mean, it's definitely easier to play and like learn shit whenever you're younger. So
yeah, I mean, they have dedicated time periods for you to be in band and stuff. Like if you're gonna do it now, like
yeah, my buddy Dylan,
everything.
Yeah,
like,
my buddy Dylan, he's like, oh, I do something online where like there's someone who teaches you. I'm like, dude, I don't have fucking time to do anything, and like I don't know how you're learning how to play guitar.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you got to be pretty fucking all around dedicated to that. So, anyway, so you're like a big jock and everything like that. But
I wouldn't say all that.
Not a jock, but you're playing every fucking sport.
Yeah.
By the term, I mean, you weren't like a dick, I would assume. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. You know, you like.
In high school, I was sketchy in high school.
You know, you trick yourself into remembering certain things. Like, there is definitely one dude that, like, I still feel super bad about it. Like, it wasn't anything, like, crazy, and he's a super cool dude, but he was, like, a freshman when I was a senior.
And you were just a dick.
Well, we were walking out of, he kind of looked like Butthead from, like, Beavis and Butt. I was like, the big L line. Asked Beavis, I get nothing but head. And then it was like, he was standing there, and like, I said it to him, and like, everybody was cracking up. And I was just like, as soon as I said it, I was like, man, I fucking suck. Dude.
Yeah,
like,
probably made him feel bad.
You know, and it was like,
but like, whatever, it shit happens.
Yeah, you know I mean, I've seen him since. He's cool, you know what I mean? It's like,
you remember that fucking time you talked shit
dude, you know, like, I still feel bad about it. Like, if I could take that, like, that was just, you know, uncalled for, but like,
were you ever bullied in high school? Or school growing up at all?
Yeah, like elementary school, like I was definitely like, I was super like, at one point I'd say I was really shy kid. I still am to an extent. But I was kind of withdrawn and just like, you know, I didn't like care about a lot of things that kids at that age did.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I didn't dress very nice.
Yeah.
Things like that. And, you know, I was just weird.
Because like we were talking about it, like me and you were texting yesterday when we were talking about doing this, and you were like, you know, I grew up in fucking like, you know, going to find like trash and shit. Like my dad, like I was telling you, ever since I could remember, dude, after kindergarten, it was a half-day kindergarten. I would come home, get home at like 11:30. My dad would be waiting in his fucking dump truck. We would drive to Olympia Shopping Center and go to the fucking flea markets on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that right there is like where I learned how to talk to people, where I learned how to like barter, sell, you know, like fucking be a person and like gain some sort of like authenticity. It's like you learn shit from these like weird ass people that you're talking to.
Yeah, my mom would take me like garbage picking, and that was just like, yo, you're like pulling up in front of people's houses and like going out through the shit that they have on their curb.
It's
like,
no shame.
And like, I definitely had a complex growing up about kind of like the way I was raised, because my grandparents raised me, which I didn't have a complex about that as much.
Yeah.
But my mom would like kind of come around, but not really be around. Like when she was around, it was like, normally things were fucked up. Cops were bringing her home. I'm sitting on the porch singing like bad boys, bad boys. Like I was so afraid of cops when I was little. I still am. I don't fuck with like really like that. But like when I was a little kid, like we'd be riding around and stuff. I would see a cop car, bro. I would like duck between the seats, like hide, because my only interaction ever with cops were them like bringing
negative
my mom
shit
home.
with your
you
mom.
know what I mean? But I mean, she's cool.
Like
she would take me, but like I had this complex. Like most people in Plum at that time, you know, 2-parent household.
Yeah.
You know, were raised by their parents. I was kind of like, there was one other kid that was raised by his grandparents that, like, I don't know if we kind of bonded over that. But, it, you know, you kind of felt like, I doubt that these fucking 7-year-olds were like, oh, look at that fucking kid over there being raised by. But, you know, you develop this complex because you're told
for sure.
it's
You
different.
think about that.
Yeah.
Like I was fortunate enough, like my parents have been together, you know, like they started dating in like 8th grade or 9th grade or some shit. And then they fucking both had like, they both split off and then got back together. But it's just like, you know, you see way more people's parents like split up than there are together. Like, even through all of my friends, like there's a lot of people's friends who aren't together.
Yeah, and like, you know, as I got older and my friends' parents started splitting up and stuff, I saw what it did to the kids.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you start putting things in perspective. Certain things become blessings that you thought were curses when you were a kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Things like that. But yeah, I mean,
it's like I remember my dad would like, we would be driving and we would see like a push lawnmower and he'd be like, go run out there, go run and grab that. And like we'd grab it, he'd toss it in, and this motherfucker would take it home, tinker with it, like fucking, it would be like that scene in Coneheads where he takes the spark plug, chews on it and puts it back in and it just works. So my dad would do that, fix something so simple and just sell it. And that like, that's where like the whole like hustler mindset came in, because like I said, my mom has been working since she was like 9 years old. She was like, had a job babysitting and shit like that. And
you
like,
said she's been with her company for like 40 years now.
Yeah, like, well, in banking. So like PNC, like she's been with PNC since like back in the fucking beginning. But even before that, she was in other banks. Mm-hmm. So like, I was raised by my like dad pretty much. Like my mom, now me saying I was raised by my dad, like my mom was around.
Not
it's
to
just
take
like,
away from her.
Yeah.
No, I know.
But she wasn't getting home till 6:30 in the day or at night. So like my dad was like, you know, he was self-employed. So like he would be gone sometimes. If he was building a house at one point, he'd be gone after school. Like I remember 4th grade, I started watching myself. Like I would be coming home and like, that's how I started.
Kid.
Dude, that's how I started fucking cooking. That's why I started getting into movies. Like that's what I would do, is just I would come home and I would watch movies, and like that's like kind of what like babysat me. My fucking aunt and uncle owned a video store in White Oak, right where like Veltree's Pizza is, right where the old Veltree's was, and it was called ET Video. And I mean, like I was super young, but like I just remember that was such a huge deal to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like, you know, like my parents were, I think it helped that my brother was like 6 years older than me, because like I was never like sheltered from like watching R-rated movies and shit like that. So, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, I was exposed to shit earlier, I guess is what I'm like getting at.
Yeah, I was exposed to like more real life situations, unfortunately, and then I was like super sheltered when it came to like that stuff. Like I remember 1st or 2nd grade, like South Park was like super popping off, and like I wasn't allowed to watch that. I mean honestly, we weren't home a lot, you know, with the amount of activities I had and things like that. We weren't home often. Like I had practice all the time, weekends were games and stuff. Like
I can't believe that you're a black belt in Aikido. So like is it like now? So Antoinette's uncle is like, he does taekwondo. Okay. And he's like a taekwondo master or some shit, you know. And I'm a super big fan of MMA. Okay. Now, let me first tell you that, like, you know, whenever I say I'm a MMA fan, I'm not like the Affliction type dude that's just like, fuck yeah, Ronda. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I genuinely follow it. I genuinely, like, I'm a fan of it all. So I talked to this dude about MMA. Like, he was like, "Oh, you a fan of martial arts?" And I was like, I watch MMA, UFC shit. And he was like, "Oh, huh," you know, with that like,
real snobby about it.
Real snobby about it. And he was like, "Those aren't martial artists." And like, I was like, "Huh?" And, you know, I was feeling very, very like, I was feeling like I wanted to have a conversation. So me and him on Christmas Eve at Antoinette's house spent the entire night debating whether these UFC fighters are martial artists or not, because he was saying that they are not martial artists because there's an aspect of winning something in it. He says right whenever that happens, it takes away all their martial arts, you know, like honor, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Yeah. And I'm like, the dude was just blowing my mind. I was like,
I can understand that to an extent, but I mean, there's competitions for everything.
Exactly.
Like, I used to compete for Aikido. Like, I get what he's saying.
I was like, don't you get paid to teach people? I was like, you're doing this for money. And he was like, oh, it's different. And I'm just like, bro, you're beating around the bush.
It's gatekeeping. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably arguably better than some of those guys at like the traditional technical side of it. However, these dudes are getting paid more and more famous. Like, I can understand that. Like, it, you know, it happens. It happens in everything. Music. There's always gatekeepers.
Yeah, people,
you know what I mean.
They're very
and
proud
you need them
of
at the same time.
Absolutely. But like, it was just such a wild thing. That's why, like, Hapkido, I'm just like, that's crazy to me. I never. Do you think that would? Do you think if you got in some crazy fight right now, your instincts would go to anything Hapkido related?
Yeah, because that's such like, it's it's all defense based. So it's I'm not like, I would say, an aggressive person by nature.
No, I get
someone's
that.
acting up, I'm gonna G check them or like step to them. But like, I'm not dude out there picking fights. But so like,
but if you need,
you're not gonna fucking rape me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
that's like what that shit's about. Like, we would have mad like classes and demonstrations. It's like, it would purely be like,
if you're
someone's
attacked,
approaching you, knife away, and then groin punch, run. Not that that's everything. Like, you really learn how to fight. You learn how to scrap, learn how to grapple and everything. But the end game is always supposed to be you getting away with doing like the least amount
of damage to the person,
get away,
or yourself.
Get away, things like that. So it's like, I used to go to my buddy, like my first friend ever, Vince Miller. He took like another martial arts, and it was like the opposite. It was like
fuck someone
it
up.
was like fighting a fight. You know what I mean? And like, I would go there and everything, and like, you have your step sequence. They call it a kata, whatever. It's like your basic moves. It's like a tree branch that everything roots out of. And they're like, ours were like parry, sidestep, arm bar,
it just
shit like that. And
their
shit was like, yeah, like let's fucking do it up.
I don't know. That's why it's been like, it's another thing that like I wish that I did whenever I was younger. It's like, if I ever do have kids, I doubt it very highly, but like if I ever do have kids, like I would want to like, give them a little bit of exposure to certain things, and like they don't like it, but that if they do, they do.
Yeah, I think it's important to like guide them and let them see.
Now,
rather than, like, there's parents out there. I'm obviously not a parent.
Yeah,
I'm not like trying to be hypercritical of anyone, but like you tell your son or daughter, like, or you listen to them, and it's like, no 5-year-old really wants to do shit, but like play with their toys.
Exactly. That's
if you let them dictate their whole life like that. I mean, like, you're never like. I don't know.
My parents forced me to do certain things, and I'm happy they did, because like I would have never did it.
Yeah, I made a lot of friends that way. I learned a lot.
Exactly.
Gained confidence that
I did Boy Scouts for literally 10 years, and there was times where I was like, this is weak.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you know what? Like now I think about it, I'm like, dude, I was living the fucking dream back then.
You wouldn't take. We're very fortunate to
even
be able to do those.
To have opportunity to do any sort of extracurricular thing.
You need perspective at that point. Growing up in Plum, fucking everybody did that shit. You didn't see a kid that didn't, or it wasn't feasible for them.
That's a good point.
So then you broaden your horizons, either through sports, whatever it might be.
Yeah, and you start to see other lifestyles, and
you see how
like
much
that.
of a fucking brat you are.
Yeah, that's exactly
like, it's a humbling experience. Like,
that's true.
Like my grandparents did. Like, I did not want for anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying there wasn't something I wanted and I had to wait for my birthday or Christmas or payday or something, but they worked their ass off.
My parents the same way. Anytime we'd start sports or something, my dad would fucking lace us up every Kennywood year. We got a new fit, new Kennywood outfit, everything. And it's just like, we never, so fortunate, because like, now that we're adults and like we're paying bills.
You see how it is.
Oh my God. Even to go to the fucking grocery store, it makes me sick. It's just like every time something scans, you're just like, oh, it's $180 already.
I mean, the beautiful thing is like, you really come to appreciate the people that raised you.
Absolutely.
I mean, the idea that like, I come home from work some days and like, I can't even play video games. I can't work on music. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Or my Pap was coming to every game. My grandma was taking me everywhere. My aunt and my uncle were at everything. They're getting up my pap was getting up at 3:00 in the morning, getting home at like 6 and coming straight to my games.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. It really is. It really is.
I don't know. I don't know if I have that in me.
We were lucky.
I'm super lucky, dude.
So besides for like all the sports and shit like that, what else were you into in high school? Because like now for me, knowing like a little bit about you, like you're very, what's the right word? About like the dope shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I see you like post pictures of like fucking, the babes and shit like that. What's your first exposure to start like getting exposed to like culture and shit?
A lot of that came from music, and my musical taste was definitely like curated by my best friend Sean. We've been best friends since we were like 10 years old.
That's who like started showing you some shit?
Yeah, because like I'm saying, I was so sheltered that like, you know, I liked rap to an extent, but I liked radio rap. You know, I didn't have things outside of that. I got like a computer late. I don't think I had like the internet until like 8th grade, which like at the time, like a lot of my friends had that stuff. So he had access to things I didn't. So he would put me on music. And then like through that, I mean, like we were really, really into Kanye. Yeah. Like early production Kanye.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we found all of his old demos and we're like really into Kanye. And Kanye and Wayne, and then like I was real into Pharrell.
And when was this? Like what year is this?
That I got like real into music or like hip
Yeah,
hop.
yeah. Like 9th grade?
Probably before that, like junior high.
Okay.
You know, like, and that's all my boy Sean.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
he was the tastemaker, and it was like, you know, you kind of fell.
That's how Maddie was.
Yeah,
Maddie exposed like Soulja Boy. I remember the first day listening to Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
He was like, "This dude was online," and I'm just what the fuck?
He was like, you know, he had like the ill little kid gear. Like he was confident in what he wore. He had like all the Echo. I remember he's got old FUBU jerseys.
Yeah.
Like, you know, where he's some white Irish kid from, but he knew what he liked early on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And nobody was gonna shake his confidence in that.
What kind of shit were you wearing?
Ill, like fucking Champion sweatpants and like some beat ass tee. Like I didn't care about it at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then like.
See, I
got clowned so much. I was like, all right.
I definitely cared about it because like my brother was older, so like I would see him always like taking pride into like what he was wearing and like, you know, always had the Johnny Blaze shit and like would be coming home with like some funny ass shit. So like he always like put me onto it. So like I'd be wearing Boss jeans, like you know, the same shit that like I would see him and all of his friends would be wearing. Anytime I would see any one of his friends, that's the shit that would get stuck in my mind. So like if I would go to Kennywood outfit, that's what I would buy.
I like part of that too, probably to some extent, was like my grandparents were like, "We're not buying you that."
Yeah,
you know, I remember the first thing I like really, really wanted like in that arena were Forces.
Oh yeah,
I didn't like really know what Air Force Ones were at the time. I was in 4th grade, and like it's not like it was now. Like you can go into any sneaker store right now, any chain store.
Yeah,
they're gonna have cocaine white Forces. They're gonna have black low tops, and they drop like. I mean, Noah or Battle Monkey was saying it on here. Like they drop like 50 pairs of Forces like a month. Like it's crazy now. You can go in and get Forces,
literally any kind.
Back then, I remember us going, you know, Monroeville Mall, like Century 3, Westmoreland Mall, trying to find these Forces. Yeah, no one had my size. We finally found a pair, and it was just like that was like the greatest. And then I got into sneakers from sneakers, like
like I was never so. It was weird because in the beginning, like, you know, I'm talking like 6, 7, 8, 9, probably up until like 2nd grade, I was wearing, you know, like my Kennywood fits were like, I would have some Jordans, I would have some Nike, you know, basketball pants, and then I would have like a fucking jersey. Like the reason I have that Rodman jersey is because that was my favorite Kennywood outfit of all time. Okay. I had some Dennis Rodman Converse shoes that zipped up the front, and then I had Nike shorts and a Dennis Rodman red jersey because they didn't have the black one in my size. So of course I have money now, so I could just like go buy that. Yeah. But right after like 2nd grade, it switched from being like the Nike athletic type style to like being the skateboard style because like I went from, you know, I've been wearing Vans since like 3rd grade, like religiously, always just had them. And, you know, I gravitated more towards like the style of all the skateboard kids. Yeah. Plus like Tony Hawk for N64 was coming out and like that shit was fucking lit. Like that was like literally all you wanted to do.
Yeah. I mean, like I always loved skateboarding. Like, not that I did it that much, but I love the idea of it. I really
didn't do it either, dude. I was
couldn't
just bad
do it because
at
of
it.
Sports.
Yeah,
you know, my grandparents weren't trying to have me out there, like,
doing
all that.
Yeah, that's true because you would fuck up your whole season.
Yeah, but like in high school, I had a lot of Dunk SBs. That was my shit. Like, I mean.
And like you're probably friends with a bunch of kids who like I was friends with like the real skateboarder kids in Elizabeth rather than like, you know, like the fake ass like poser. I remember a kid called me a poser one time in McKeesport because I had a shirt on from the Edge that said
Shout out PA Cheapskates one time.
It said skateboarding is not, or please arrest me. I'm a skateboarder or something like that. It was the Ed Shop shirt, and this kid came over and was like, "Oh, you fucking poser!" And I'm just like, bro, I know about this shit. Like, just because I can't fucking do no kickflips, I also probably weigh 3 times as much as you. Try jumping up on a fucking skateboard.
It'd be like me running up on someone wearing Jordans. Like,
it's just like,
let's go one-on-one real quick, like that. That's so corny. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Put a pin in that real quick. Are you heavy on social media?
I fell back over the last couple of years.
There's this dude. He's like a Middle Eastern dude that dresses in religious garb.
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah.
He cracks me up. He walks up and he fucks with people, and he'll shoot the ball while they're shooting it. And then he's just super nice at basketball. Yeah. And he'll just steal the ball off someone and cross up these people. Yeah. Some dude swung at him. But anyway, regardless. But the skateboarding shit is like what kind of like started off like everything as far as like, my love of like clothes, my love of like, just like matching colors up and everything. Yeah. But like my first, like you were saying, your first thing you wanted were Forces. My first shoe that I've ever wanted that my parents still didn't get me were some D3s, the red and black Osiris D3s. Do you remember?
Did you just pull those out the other day?
Yeah. Well, they re-released them last year, but that not in that colorway. So I was like, fuck it, I have to buy these.
You had gray, yellow.
They're black and gray and yellow. But the ones
eyelets are like yellow or something.
Yeah, the eyelets are yellow. The ones that I wanted though, they were all black and the eyelets were gray and they had a red line around them. Yeah. But like those, back then those were like 130 back then.
They were crazy. Like I was talking to my buddy at work a while ago, and like his favorite shoe ever is the Airwalk one. And
wow,
and
that's like, crazy.
I think like right around a year ago they like retroed them, which was like crazy, but
definitely weird.
Yeah, but skate style, even in high school, like I loved the style of dressing, everything about skating, but it wasn't practical for me. Like I was going right to practice right after school. From that, I had to jump back in clothes and go to another practice. So like, what was I going to be doing wearing jeans? Sweaty as hell in the back of my grandparents,
it's not practical at all.
Station wagon, wood grain station wagon riding around.
I gave it. I put my heart in. I gave it 100%. I was struggling in them Dickies. I was that big dude like pushing. Just pushing that skateboard and faucet playing, dude. Like that's how I knew Jesse Hutchinson. Like
I was gonna say, like I have 3 friends that are good skateboarders. Jesse Hutch.
Matt Bakers,
who was just like, you go down to One Up, talk to Greg, you talk to Germ, you talk to JG Gigawatts, all these OG skaters. They're like, he was so nice. Like they all remember. They hadn't seen him in years. They still remember him. He was nice. And then my boy Shannon Dunkovich was like mad nice too.
I don't think I know who that is.
Shannon's from he's a super good dude.
But like Jesse, me and him were in middle school together. Mm-hmm. So like me and him were. I remember being friends with him because like he wore the same shit. We had the same type of friends. Jake Whiteman was a mutual friend. Yeah. And like that kid was like the best skateboarder I knew from the beginning. Like
Jay White?
Yeah, he was like probably like 6th, 7th, 8th, probably 6th and 7th grade. Like I never met a kid. I remember one time I watched him in Fawcett Plan do he did 14 tray flips and then in a row, and then he fucked up on the 15th one because it got caught on a piece of gravel. He probably would have been there all night. They were all fucking perfect too. Yeah. And like
that's how Bakos was too. I mean, Bakos can still like not skate for 2 years. Like I remember we were probably like 20 or something. There's this shopping plaza in Holiday Park that like has a perfect gap into Wendy's like drive-through.
Yeah.
Okay. So like this dude pulls out his skateboard, hasn't skated hard in years, but really hadn't skated probably a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
Double hills the gap in polo slip-on and Ralph Lauren slip-ons. Double hills the gap, lands sketch, but it's like,
he still did it.
And
After
was just
not
like,
doing it
was
for a
just like
minute.
pissed, like I'm never skating again.
Yeah.
He's just, you know, he was that nice at one point that was like mad disappointing that he landed sketch first try,
Yeah.
not skating in 2 years, and Ralph Lauren slip-ons.
It's sickening now because like you see on social media, there's fucking 13, 14-year-old kids that are doing fucking, you know, insane
it's
shit.
crazy.
And like my buddy Jared who skates, like he's been a diehard since the beginning. Like he's like, I can't even believe what I see. He'll send me these fucking videos of these young ass kids doing like something crazy, and then they'll just fucking like, I don't know, dude. I think it's all, everything's just progressing because like all these young kids have, like, imagine us being super young, like we didn't have a way to watch things. Like imagine if we all had like YouTube and like all this shit right at the palm of our hand like we do now. Back then we had fucking Tony Hawk's trick tips, and it's like one person would watch it and then other people would just trade it off and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the way any professional sports develop, like NBA, you know, you want to go back to like Nate Archibald days, like Pistol Pete. Pistol Pete was so ahead of his time.
Yeah.
But like that's a style of play now that's like everyone's accustomed to. You know what I mean? So there's people that like blaze that trail. Everyone kind of catches up. Someone pushes the envelope again, and then they catch up. You know?
Yeah. Everyone has to.
Evolution right in front of your eyes,
and that's it. Like it's like I'll talk to people about how they're like, you know, like Najee Houston's probably one of the best skateboarders living right now, but like, you know, like none of that shit would ever happen if Rodney Mullen wasn't alive to like spark everything.
He was the fucking Pistol Pete of skateboarding, dude. Like
right.
that dude. I mean,
it would not be where it was. Like he did the fucking first ollie. Like it's just
to have that like foresight to like completely change something is just like.
It's just interesting because like now it's like back then, you know, a dark slide was like fucking unheard of to even be done, like Casper slides and shit like that.
It was like last trick you could do on like
that was like
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and
exactly
shit.
Like that was like the biggest thing you could do, and now these fucking kids are like doing them on like them, what are them, wave boards or whatever. Like people are doing insane shit. But
I mean it is real,
like
crazy.
you said, it happens in every category you do, whether it's music, sports, rapping, anything. But so high school, again, full circle, bringing it around. High school, you said you got into music, or like you started getting into music in middle school. You said
elementary, like 4th grade.
Yeah,
I started playing trombone. 6th grade started playing drums, and then 6th grade throughout high school played drums.
Okay, yeah.
And then like I was never in marching band or anything like that.
Okay.
Because of football.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
There was one kid who played trumpet who was on the football team that would go out and march, but
really,
I wasn't about that.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Shout out to him though. That's dope. Like
that's dope.
He was, you know, a good football player.
My coach wouldn't even let that happen. I remember I was on homecoming court and I wasn't even allowed to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "You're not walking there halftime." It's not probably because we sucked. We didn't win a game our senior year. Terrible. But like, how did you get into like the whole exposure of like creating music as far as like, you know, beats and everything?
So, like, I've used different DAWs, digital, you know, but FL Studio, Fruity Loops is definitely my main one. I have an MPC and everything too, but like, often just, you know, chopping things up, making stuff in FL Studios. But my best friend Sean, again, it all goes back to him. He downloaded the demo when we were in like 3rd or 4th grade.
Oh yeah.
We would download it for like a week, and like, you know, this is pre-YouTube, so it's like we didn't have the instruction manual, and there wasn't a way for us to like easily accessible learn. So we would tinker with it for like a week and be like, all right, this is pointless.
Fuck this.
And then when I was like 18 or 19, I ended up getting the software again and like just taking the time to learn how to use it. You know, I already had a background in music theory and reading like sheet music and stuff, but you have to think like true music theory was really like 4th and 5th grade for me. After that, like playing percussion and everything, like we were like the outcast, even in band. You know, like our director would just be like, you know, we would be back there just like slouched. One kid that played the cymbals would be like drooling on the floor. Like we were just kind of like derelicts to an extent. and we didn't get that much attention. But you know, if you could read sheet music, you could play, like, you know, one kid would be on the bass drum, two kids would be playing snare, timpani, some other type of percussive elements, and things like that. But like, you weren't like really learning music theory the same way you were when
more of just like techniques and how to alter them.
Yeah, you know, we were learning different things for drumming, like paradiddles and flams and stuff like that. But after that, I just started
paradiddle like left, right, 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 left, right, left, left. Yeah, like
so like that.
Yeah, like that's, I don't know, that's fucking the coolest thing I ever did that had anything to do with music. Is we had a class where my teacher taught us how to play the Indiana Jones theme song on a xylophone. It was fucking insane. Yeah. You know, like, it was so sick to me, and I think I was the only person in the class that thought it was fucking dope. It had to be, we were probably in 6th grade, 7th grade, and I just remember sitting there because, like, I was a fucking fan of Indiana Jones, and I was like, no one was pumped about this. So, like, he was like, anyone want to try this? I'm like, fuck yeah, like, I'm up there, you know, just like on a xylophone. There was a point in time where I asked my dad, I was like, yo, I need you to get me a xylophone because I'm going to start playing that. Luckily, he didn't, though. Who knows where I'd be now.
With, like, band, you know, you start off, like, you're renting those instruments.
Yeah.
You know, and then, like, you build up, like, a credit or whatever, you can eventually buy it.
Yeah.
So I switched from trombone, those credits build up, and then, like, when you're playing, like, percussion, all you get is a drum pad, a little snare pad and sticks, and you practice that way. And then you build that up, and I eventually got a set, and, like, I didn't go hard with it like I should have, or like I wish I would have, but I played a decent amount.
Well, that's dope now because, like, I mean, percussion and shit like that has to take into, like, has to help you out with as far as, like, beat making and
for
shit.
For sure. But to go back to that, you know, my boy downloaded FL Studio, eventually got it on my own, started studying it, like, going back and, like, we, you know, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of talking with people that made music.
Yeah.
You know, people that have been doing it. And, you know, even just like watching old studio videos of like Premiere, or even like Kanye. Like, Kanye honestly was like the one who got me into making beats because, like, you know, and I'm not saying like he was the first one to do anything like this by any means, but for my generation it happened.
Yeah.
He bridged the gap between music my grandparents played that I grew up listening to and made it into the music for my time period. So he's going to sample, you know,
with that.
You know, Jackson 5, someone like that, some soul shit that I grew up listening to. And it's like, you know, I would try to like play music for my grandma in the car and she was like, I just don't get what's good about it.
Yeah.
You know, and it, like looking back, like, yeah, why the fuck would she think like Yin Yang Twins, like shit was ill? Like, but you know, then Kanye came out and it was like, there'd be I play something for her and she's like, oh, this is nice. Their big thing was always like, can you dance to it? Like American Bandstand,
like
can you
more
dance to
more
it?
Acceptable than just like.
And then I'd be like, do you hear that? Like, yeah, some weird shit. You know, like, you're trying to sell your grandma. You're like 8 years old. He's talking about.
And were they like were they cool with you like being younger and like getting parental advisory CDs, or were you like sheltered in that part as well?
Yeah, I mean, I was sheltered that way. I could like finesse things pretty well. Okay. Like, I just like, you know, like withhold certain truths. You know, so like,
exactly.
I remember when Sean got locked up, like he dropped his like debut or whatever. I can't even remember what it's called, but like I managed to get that somehow.
Was it the Bad Boy song? Was it the album that? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I really can't remember it.
Because in that Bad Boy video. They have a write-up about what happened to him. You remember that?
Yeah, I mean, he like Sean's story is like super, super crazy.
And I don't even know too much about him really.
His dad's like a prince.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his dad's a prince, a Belize or something like that. Something with Belize. Which is actually, he's like a politician in Belize now.
Shine?
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, or possible. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's involved in somehow, but his family, like he's from there. But that first album, like I think it dropped like not too long after that infamous shooting.
Yeah.
And I was able to get that. I was able to get like, I honestly don't even remember how I got the Shine one. I think like I played it off the fact that he was like religious. Like, I mean, like, you know, like,
I just remember like coming home and like there was very few times like my mom would be like, I turn that boogie music down. Like that's what she would call boogie music. It's just like she said that she yelled at my brother about a No Limit Records album one time. It was the one that was all black and it had a fucking green tank on it.
They all had tanks.
Yeah, they all had tanks, but it was.
But no, I know what you mean.
And I just remember him playing that all the time because like, you know, listening to that music, you start hearing them like swearing and shit. And you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And it gets and like that shit makes a fucking impact. So like, I remember my first CD that I went to Century 3 Circuit City and bought was Limp Bizkit. It was the one with like the graffiti on the front of the album. It was like him on there. I think it had Nookie on it.
Oh man.
It wasn't Chocolate Starfish. It was the one right before that. I can't remember what it was called, but I remember I bought that and I bought I think it was a Snoop Dogg CD.
Really?
But I didn't even like know what this shit was. I just bought it because like, you know, my brother went to go get his shit and my dad was like, all right, you can pick a couple things.
Yeah.
But like they were always like all right about it.
Yeah, I was fairly sheltered to some degree with music. Like, I grew up listening to a lot of Motown.
Yeah.
We grew up, like, if we were in the car, we listened to 3WS. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what that was like. And, like, to this day, like, my favorite artist or group ever is probably The Temptations. Like, I can just listen to them forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, you know, that like bridged the gap for us, and it was like it made them more accepting because like they understood more what I liked about it.
Yeah.
You know, like the draw, and it was easier for them to digest because it was something they were familiar with.
Yeah, that makes
You know,
sense.
It was cool to them to hear it flipped in a different way, or like, you know, that was like the thing with Jay Dilla too. Like, you know, show them Dilla, and it's like, here's the original song. Here's what he did.
And
to
you're
it.
just like, holy shit.
Know, yeah.
And
But
that makes a good point. Like that's a really good point that like that would be something more reasonable for them to respond to rather than like some yin yang twin shit.
Yeah. And you know, I wanted them, if that was eventually what I was going to do, I wanted them to respect
Absolutely.
and accept it, because like I don't want to be running around disrespecting them even. Yeah, you know. But
for sure.
Another CD I finessed was Straight Outta Compton when I was like, they had like a re-release when we were in like middle school. Somehow I got that. I mean, I think maybe at that point they had started like loosening the reins a little bit.
Yeah.
And like that one I don't think was explicit, but the first album I ever bought with like my actual own money was the Game documentary.
Yeah.
Which is still like one of my favorite. I can still listen to that front to back. Like that's a classic of me.
Yeah, because
No
like
doubt about
I
it.
mean, you're definitely so for people that like don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like my first exposure of you was at Timebomb.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I would always see you behind the desk at Timebomb, and like I've told you know, even the owner of Threads, I was like, you know, like you were probably like the reason that I kind of got involved with what I do now, because like, you know, I would go in there and like I always like loved everything about it, like the culture of everything, like the atmosphere, exactly, like clothing, music, like you know all that shit. I just loved it all, and I remember going into Timebomb and like knowing that was such like a pivotal piece of like
I was the hip hop Mecca.
Yeah,
know
like
what I mean?
like you walk in that place and you knew that it was like, you know, fucking Wu-Tang's just bumping out of the speakers, and like you knew that like Brick was like a like you knew that he was someone that like was authentic.
He's so well respected within the like you go outside of Pittsburgh, I mean, and it's, you know, he's well known even there. Like you look in the American history graffiti book.
Yeah.
And his name's right there. It's like one of the first names for Pittsburgh. Like he brought the culture to the city.
Yeah,
like
he's so wild. Like and like I talk about it. I bring it up on here all the time because like it's very relevant to like my life now.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
like it's like I'm doing the same shit that you did at a different time period. So like, you know, you were making all this music, and like the reason I even brought this up is because like you could tell that you're someone that's so like versed in like knowledge of it all, you know, like actual real knowledge rather than just like, you know, like fucking Lil Pump and like all these like mainstream things. Like you are you're like I wouldn't consider you like younger, but like we're younger compared to all these dudes that we were always around.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, my grandparents really instilled in me like never quitting, and also if you're gonna do something, do it well. And I also just never wanted to have my card pulled. So like when I first started getting into sneakers, me and my best friend Sean were on Nike Talk every single day.
Like learning,
researching, learning, you know, first learning the series. You know, at that point, probably like 1 through the 15s might have just came out at that point. It's hard to remember, but like learning them all, like learning like the years they came out, which shoes he wore, which ones he didn't, the nicknames, you know, like Last Shots, Breads, things like that. Learning like, you know, the 13s were just designed after Black Panther, the 5s were designed after World War II fighter jet, shit like that. Like learning it that way because we were young. We didn't really have the sneakers, but we wanted to know about it because, like, you know, we wanted to chop up game with dudes that did have them and show, you know, and we weren't just
be
like,
able to like have a like a legit conversation with someone and not just like be fake about it.
Not be like, oh, I really like those 5s. And then like they're like, you know, pull out something like this, and you're like, oh, what are those? And it's like,
that's like literally the exact type of like mindset that I have about shit because like, you know, like I've tried so many different things, like made clothes, fucking skate shit, like all these different things. And it's like, you know, I feel like on the outside, people might think that I'm just like wishy-washy and like, you know, like I just try a bunch of different things and like, you know, some things I might not stick to, but like you have to try everything out. But like I try things out and I become so obsessed with them at one point that I take in enough information to know that if I truly love that or not. And you know, like I just like learning about the things that I loved, like the skateboarding shit. Like I didn't know, like I never skated as far as like, you know, I would cruise around with people, would film shit for people or whatever. But like I just loved the atmosphere of it all. I loved learning about it all. It was like characters in video games and shit. But it's like you learned about all these people, and like that's whenever like in anything, different styles come into play, different like even clothing styles, skate styles, music. Like that was another thing that would always like kind of fascinate me was like music of like skate parts and everything like that. It's like you could tell a lot from someone just by the shit that they're into. But like how did you like get exposed to like Timebomb?
Through music.
I mean,
like local music. I mean, this was the time of like the GOV, F Block, you know, Bo, S Money, all them, like Wiz, like the early mixtape stuff. And it was like, if you want to grab that, you would go down to Timebomb. And then like
2004, would you say? 2005, somewhere around there?
Yeah, around there. And then, like, I started going there a lot with my boy Bakos. We pick up music, and that was around the time I started having my own money. I could buy the clothes that I wanted. We would go down there, buy CDs, didn't really have money for, like, clothes. Start buying clothes, and then I was going there a lot. And, like, the one big thing was, like, if I was there, I bought. You know, and but you know, you know how it is. You know who buys. You know who spends money. You know how his money. And you remember them. You're more likely to conversate with them if they're cool. And like, you know, I would talk to Brick and Katie a lot. Like, just stick around. Like, I would talk music. I was real into local music already at that point. Like, I was riding. There was this group, Commonwealth Family. Like, I was real into them. Like I had an ear for the local scene.
When did Timebomb open? Do you know?
90. Brick's gonna be pissed at me if he listens to this.
That's all right.
94.
Oh, 95. So but it was earlier 90s, like early mid 90s.
Yeah,
because like I knew it's been around like since way back.
we've been in a lot of different places. Shakespeare, Giant Eagle, Bloomfield, all before my time. But he had moved around, and then we were on South Highland for like 8-10 years. I honestly can't
and that was
remember.
like that's like the
was the
spot that
Timebomb,
everyone
yeah.
knows.
Mhm.
It's like right at the end of that
That's
bridge.
where Wiz's first MTV countdown was shot. Mac's music videos.
Yeah.
We had the when Mac had that reality show on MTV2, shot an episode in there.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Weren't you on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, yeah, I was. What was that like?
That was dope.
Like, what's an experience like? Like, you have to sign waivers and shit like that.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't remember that well.
I remember that show very vaguely now that you say that.
It was a
good
cool
show.
episode.
It was a cool show. Like,
he had a good show. I mean, Mac's a really charismatic guy.
Yeah.
So it's easy to like, I don't know, vibe with him. Like he puts on he's entertaining.
Plus, I mean, you definitely will understand this. Like, if you are part of that place, if you're part of Timebomb, if you're part of Threads, like, you're part of something. Yeah. Like, people want to know you. Like my first experience of Threads is like, I've been there for almost 3 years now, and in the beginning, people didn't fuck with me. I was just some fucking chubby white kid that's just like new in there, and it's like people would come in and they just wouldn't want to talk to me because like people want to talk to people that you knew in there, because it's like a very personable. It's a personal experience to go clothing shopping, because like
they
people
want to
certain,
talk to who they think's the shot caller to.
Yeah,
if they think they have no pull.
Yeah, my dude always hooks me up with the deals. And it's like, I know.
It'd be funny, like people that like, and this was the point. I'd already been working at Timebomb like 5 years, but like,
how long were you there?
I mean, I guess I'm technically still there in some essence.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
but like
Herb on first Fridays, but like full time, like 5 years.
Like that's a good bit of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in its prime, whenever like the shit was really happening. So like, it's like I would see you there, and like immediately my first experience with you is like, like you were always super cool. Like I talked to you. I remember talking to you, and like you were cool enough to like, you weren't like a dick. Like it's not like you just brush people off.
No, I try not to. I mean, I'm not shit. You know what I mean? Like,
no, but like
from like an outside perspective, it might look like I do ill shit sometimes, or used to. But like, like what the fuck, like.
Yeah, but there's some people that will let that shit get to their head.
Yeah,
like whenever you're like. We have people come through like Montana 300, Hardo shops, WAPO, rest in peace, obviously. But like, it's like these dudes always come in, and it's like, like they all shop with you and stuff like that, and like it's different for them to come in and always say what's up, dap you up and everything like that. It's like you're part of something a little bit more, and that shit could definitely get to people's head. Because even if you're in someone's crew or whatever that is like has any sort of like buzz, people think that they're fucking gods.
Families are humbling. You know what I mean? Like when you come around, they're like, "Why are you still working that dead end job? You're 24," and like to me, it's the greatest job ever. That wasn't about money. That was about networking.
Yep.
Learning things, learning about music, meeting people like that. I mean, I would have done it. I probably wouldn't have done it for free.
Those
but
are experiences that you learn.
Change that experience.
Same thing here. It's
different shows I've gone to, people I've met, like never would have happened had I not been there. Like,
it's never. It will never happen because there's
your family doesn't see that, so it's you can't.
That's exactly
when your family's like, "What the fuck are you doing with your life?" Like they don't see the cultural aspect of it. It's humbling. Like you realize you're not really doing anything,
but I mean, like I also feel like that it's like because I'm at the point now where like I've been there for a minute, and my mom sees that like like I've been working there, and like I work on the weekends and shit like that there, and like she's like like what's going on with all this, and I'm just like this is something that I fucking love. Like if like I don't need to work here, like I make enough money that I can pay my fucking bills, but like this is something that I want to be involved with. Like this is a big deal right now.
Yeah. See, I sell it a certain way, but my family was never like disrespectful about it as much as they didn't like understand how influential of a place that time period was. But my pap still asks me, "How's Rick doing? How's Rick's shop doing?" I'm like, "It's brick, dog," but Yeah, so they ask, they want to see it do well because they did see how much it meant to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Saw me go through hard times where, like, I wasn't getting the type of money I was hoping to, or I wasn't able to do certain things, and they saw that, there was sacrifice so I could stay there.
Absolutely.
And continue to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
And, I still talk to Brick every day.
Yeah.
Hang out with him pretty much every weekend, so.
And like so you're in there and you're like buying shit with your friends and you're starting to like be in there. So like how did you, like we got people that come in and just ask to work all the time.
Okay, yeah.
So like how did you even get linked up with him?
So I'll preface it by saying, like, I was doing photography at the time.
Okay.
I was no good at that, but I was doing photography.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of rappers out there, so there was a lot of, desire for photographers. And then I was also running a blog at the time, White Men Can't Blog.
Really?
Yeah. I ran that for years. I mean, that did pretty well for a long time. And then it just didn't become feasible to do it anymore. Blogs were kind of dying out. I had more going on. I was focusing on music more.
This is like a writing blog? Like you wrote like articles and shit?
Yeah. I covered a lot of local music. I would take a lot of submissions.
I had no idea that you did that.
Yeah, for a long time. And
White Man
Can't Blog. White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah,
Billy
obviously.
Hoyle.
Yeah, so Billy Hoyle, like, now put a pin in that because I'll forget. Where did Billy Hoyle come from?
Basketball.
Okay, that's
shit
what
like
I mean.
that.
That's now that you told me that you played like your entire life, it kind of understands it. But for people that don't know, Billy Hoyle is
Woody Harrelson.
Woody
White Man
Harrelson,
Can't Jump.
White Man Can't Jump.
Which is like the most generic white dude involved in hip hop name ever, but fuck it at this point. Like,
I mean,
whatever. There was like back in the day, this dude from like New Kensington, like, started some beef with me on YouTube because his name was Billy Hoyle 724. He was like, I'm the original Billy Hoyle. I was like, dog, I've had my YouTube channel longer than you, and like neither one of us is the original Billy Hoyle. There's a white dude that does this shit in every city that goes by Billy Hoyle. You go up to Boston,
Yep.
There's a Billy Hoyle there. They're everywhere. We're not the originators, dog.
yeah,
They're
like, you're
all
the first
stealing
person
shit.
to think
I
it's
was
a catchy name.
Yeah.
That's cool though, because like, I mean, I for a minute I thought that was your real name, and I think Antoinette was. I think she was the reason I found out that your real name was Anthony. Like, I was like, what?
So like it really stuck. Billy Hoyle really stuck because of Brick.
Yeah.
When I would come in, when I was shopping there, it'd be like, Billy Hoyle.
Yeah.
Like, he fucked with me. And like, it was just my Twitter name. Like, I didn't plan on doing anything with it, but it stuck. He started introducing me that way. And then like certain activities I might or might not have been involved in, I didn't necessarily want people to know my real name.
Yeah.
It was definitely like, a blessing. Like when people like don't know your real name, like,
yeah, people with Strawberry Cuz, like, oh, it's Strawberry Cuz on Instagram and shit.
I like my Facebook name isn't my real name either.
Yeah,
like I don't. That was more because like I didn't want my family finding me. But,
yeah.
Like, that shit doesn't work either.
I know everyone, because now you get suggesting people you may know, and it's like your entire extended family.
Yeah, so take it back. I was going in there a lot. Like they saw what I was doing. They. A big part of that at the time was running their blog. Katie didn't necessarily want to do that anymore, I don't think. Like, I shouldn't say that. It would have been easier on her because she did all of our graphic design work.
Yeah.
Have someone do that aspect of it. Take photos of the clothing, everything like that. So I was going to Slippery Rock at that time.
You went to Slippery Rock?
Yeah, for a grip.
What year? 2009?
Nah. The first college I ever went to was Bethany College in West Virginia.
Oh, I know. I have friends that graduated from
there was a lot of McKeesport kids there. Like, Corey Winters?
Yeah, I know.
That's
him.
my boy. Like,
oh, yeah?
He went there.
That's a small world.
Zach Classic went there.
I know him.
Matt Harding.
Yeah, Matt Harding.
He went there too for a little bit.
That dude was like, he was mean as fuck at basketball.
Oh, they were nice as fuck. Him and Zach. They were nice as fuck.
Man, Matt Harding, that's so weird that you said that. That dude lived one road up from me.
Really?
I was friends with him.
Yeah.
Him and his sister Emily.
They were all cool dudes. Like, I was definitely better friends with Corey because I played soccer.
Yeah.
At
And
Bethany,
he played soccer.
And Corey played there.
I had no idea you played soccer. Wild to me. wild to me. It's wild to me that you played all these sports and you did track. I had no idea. I guess that's me being
not everyone says
judgy.
that. Nah, it's not judgmental.
You don't wear it though.
Yeah, I don't carry myself like
people
that.
think it's weird whenever I tell them that I played football. I was captain of the football team. They're like, "What?" They're like, "What?"
Yeah,
you?
I felt like my identity for a long time was like masked by like sports, and like I couldn't like, I don't know. I didn't want to be some like jock. I like things outside of that.
Exactly.
And like when I got to college and away from it, like I got to dress the way I truly wanted to.
Yeah, and it was easier to make yourself who you want to be because people don't have like, you know, the memories of you from middle school and shit.
Yeah.
But Bethany, what'd you go to school for there?
Physical education.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know what I wanted to do. My aunt's a teacher, and she was like,
if you'd have been a gym teacher, that would have been the funniest.
Dude,
It would have been my gym teacher at my high school got paid more than any teacher because he's been there the longest.
Oh yeah, Mr. Ramito, our gym teacher, my football coach, super good dude. He did all right.
So you changed what you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I was at Bethany. I left after a year. Went to CCAC for like a semester or two.
Yeah.
Then went up to Slippery Rock. And then Slippery Rock, I was still in phys ed. But it was getting to like the point where it was like, we're getting really into our core classes and I'm going to have to enter the School of Education.
Yeah.
And I always was like, all right, I'm 18. Yeah, I don't want to be a teacher now.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this, but, by the time I'm 20, 21.
I might want to.
Yeah. And then it's coming like crunch time, and I'm like, dude, this is
not what you want to do.
Yeah,
you have to
like,
make
I
above a
don't wanna
3.0. I went to Slippery Rock for elementary ed and special ed.
Okay, so
and I was like, I'm out because
it was just like it wasn't even necessarily those like restrictions as much as like I was like, I'm never going to have the patience or desire to like teach people.
See, I was the opposite. Like I was all for that. Like I was always, I was always the person that was able to do that and teach people whether they had disabilities or anything like that. Like that was always something I loved doing, was being a teacher, being able to show people how to do things. But the thing that ruined it for me is that I was fucking 18 and people just want you to choose what you're going to do the rest of your life.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's fucking tough because like you literally have no idea. 7-8 years ago, whenever I was there, it's like I was literally a completely different human being. Like, and that's what's crazy to me because like, how do people even like how do you expect young kids to even do that? But Slippery Rock, dude, I had to bolt because they were like, for you to get paid any money, you got to move away. And I was like, I ain't fucking moving away. Yeah. Being a teacher is so fucking hard because like there's so many people that want to do it.
I had a lot of friends that graduated from Slippery Rock with education degrees that ended up in Maryland and stuff like that. But
yeah, I mean, more power to them. Fuck it. If
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
What you want to do. That's what you want to do.
My aunt's a special ed teacher, South Allegheny Elementary, like in Glassport.
Yeah,
and she's been doing that forever. She's dope. But
yeah, like people like that, like it takes a special person to be able to do that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but yeah. So after that, like I talked to my advisor. I was like, I really don't know, but I was like, I know what I don't want. I don't know what I want to do, but I can tell you what I don't want to do, and I can tell you my interests. So I ended up like, it was like this new age, like kind of millennial major called like professional studies, where you basically like built your own major. So my major was basically grassroots organizations and nonprofits. Because I wanted, at that point, like I was into music heavy. I was making a lot of music, and I was around a lot of people making music, and like I wanted to essentially like develop programs where like after school programs or stuff for kids that wanted to learn how to make music,
do different things.
Yeah, make like we have band. I get that we have band, but like. My band for me was a means to an end. I want to learn how to play
you're doing
music
different
and
things.
everything.
You're doing like playing a fucking trumpet.
Yeah.
Be able to now you go to high school and they have technology labs where you could go fucking learn how to mix and master music or graphic design things.
And I essentially wanted to do that in lower income areas where they wouldn't normally have it. So start a nonprofit, take it to, wherever, have a program and be able to teach these kids a skill that could go on to be useful, something job, maybe help them see what they want to do with their future, and then, also like, keep kids out of trouble.
Yeah.
But that,
it just like, it turns out to be
I dropped out, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like, I failed out of Slippery Rock because, like, I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, at some point, it's like when you have that desire, you're
my
lacking
first
desire.
semester there, I got all A's and B's. I had a 3.3, and then my second semester, I was like, like, I had to take a fucking military class where they wanted me to wake up every morning at 6:30 and go fucking learn about the military and then just do wild shit, dude. And I was just like, you know what, like, I ain't doing this. The only reason I even wanted to go to school was because, like, I wanted the experience of, like, being on my own. And and it's not even that, like, I wasn't even getting into trouble. I didn't fucking party or drink or anything.
Yeah.
So that was essentially the reason that I hated school, because, like, that was the only thing people did up there was drink and party, because you're in a fucking field.
I didn't care much for Slippery Rock. I really liked Bethany. Like, maybe not like the school itself, because they made me take a religion class my first semester, and I did not bang with that.
Yeah.
And then it was like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, if there was a general store that was open from like 6 in the morning to like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then a bar that would serve anyone. But then, like, if you wanted fast food, grocery store, anything was like a half hour right away.
Yeah, it's deep.
But, like, I loved the people up there. Like, I still keep in contact with, like, a lot of people from there. Way more than I did from, like, Slippery Rock.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, what did you do after that? You were done with school, and then what was, like, the next move?
Timebomb full time.
Yeah.
Timebomb and music full time.
Now, your whole experience there, like, I mean, would you say that, like, that was, like, in the prime of, everything? Like, whenever Wiz was, like, blowing up and shit like that?
Absolutely. I mean, really, Wiz was, by the time I started actually working there, Wiz was already big.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I had started working there just a little bit after Black and Yellow had, like, really blown up.
Oh, okay.
Like, Terry Jones?
Yeah.
He did, like, the Bill Cosby, like, pudding, like, parody of that, like, and that shit popped off. Like, Wiz was getting big at that time. Like, I was really there, like, I was there to see, like, the development of kids, everything like that of Max. So,
I remember that day that came out, and Mikey and Big Bob did an interview with Mac whenever Kids dropped.
Yeah.
And, like, like, that mixtape was, like, the anthem of my summer.
Oh,
for
absolutely.
a lot of people.
It changed the way I looked at, like, the opportunity for music in Pittsburgh. Like,
what do you mean by that? Like, because it was a white kid that was, like, kind of popping off?
I mean, probably to some extent,
yeah.
But also because it was the second person from Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's
I would
a
say
good
that's
point.
more so than him being, like, white or anything.
Now,
Wiz, like, that could be like a fluke, but then you see somebody else, it started to seem like, all right, this is plausible.
Yeah, for sure.
This is something I want to do.
I think it's super interesting, though, that it was like a white dude that was popping off, because, like, white rappers are still fucking like people don't take them seriously at all.
Nah.
Like, you got B White, and, like, B White definitely, like, shows out for, like, white dudes that are spitting, and, like, I mean, not even just white dudes, like, the dudes could hang with anyone that's spitting and everything. Absolutely. Like that. But it's just like, I remember thinking, like, oh, like, like, Mac Miller was getting categorized back then as, like, frat rap, which was, like, like, I remember hearing that a lot, like, frat
One of my
rap.
favorite white rappers of all time is, like, the ultimate. He's like the poster boy for frat rappers.
Can I guess it?
Yeah.
Is he pretty mainstream?
Nah, I wouldn't say so.
Then who?
Well, who are you gonna guess?
I was gonna guess people like fucking, like Cam Meekins or fucking.
Oh no,
like
yeah,
Huey
Cam's
Mack and
dope.
shit. Yeah, super.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But Asher Roth.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Asher's super ill. Like, he might have even that, like, I Love College shit. Even though that put him out there, like, that hinders your career at some point, because, like, that's all. Like, same with Joe Budden. Like, Joe Budden had, like, Pump It Up, and it wasn't, like, white girls and shit, and then it was like nobody took him serious after that, but dude made, like, incredible
That's
music.
a good point. I never
and, like,
thought about
Asher
that.
Roth was, like, the same way. Like, yeah, he came out with this, but, like, dude can really spit.
But
like,
I remember,
he's great.
That's a perfect example. Like, I remember people, like, ripping him apart online because,
Oh, yeah.
like,
I was one of those people.
yeah,
Like, I'm not gonna front, like I was definitely one of those people because like
Yeah.
at that time I was like such a hip hop purist. Like if you weren't like conscious rap over like a sample boom bap like or light drum beat or like really about it or something, I was like, nah, fuck you, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And I feel like that's what I was kind of getting at as far as like the whole like frat rap with like the white dudes and shit like that. I feel like that, like, I don't know, like dude just didn't, I don't know. It was just a weird time in life because I remember a lot of people fucking hated on like kids and shit like that and like didn't take him.
I love that shit.
Yeah, like I thought it was
I can
so
still
dope.
bump that.
Yeah, like and like honestly, like that song he did over Fireflies, like
That
that's
was beautiful.
Probably
that
my
video was super ill.
Yeah,
like
that was
Rex
probably my
Arrow
favorite.
was killing it.
That was
bro.
probably my
like,
favorite song that he ever put out. I still bump that shit all the time.
Yeah,
but
he's
it's
great.
just like
Mac's great.
Yeah, dude.
And like the thing is like so like the general public categorized him as like maybe this frat rapper and everything, but he started emerging and like real heads fucked with him because he's a real hip hop.
Yeah, for sure. And you
like,
could tell that now because like people like the Roots, like people that are like that mean something in hip hop, like show him respect.
Oh yeah,
But in
Premier
the
like fucks with him heavy. Like you have all these legendary dudes that like
Pharrell.
that fuck with him super heavy. Like
I mean, it is. It's interesting. But I can see what you mean. Like that's a good way to think of it. Like Wiz could have been a fluke, but like another dude comes out a couple years later and it kind of pops off.
Yeah.
Because like I'm sure that you've seen like being in Timebomb all them years, like you see like probably an insane amount of number of rappers and shit like that.
Oh yeah, we had an in-store with Big Sean and Mac before Big Sean blew up.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like and you see a lot of these people that come through and like at the like kind of the summit of their career and you see them build and then they're huge.
Yeah.
But then you think about it and like Big Sean's from Detroit. You got Eminem, D12, shout out Proof, rest in peace. He's my favorite rapper in D12. You got Slum Village, you got Jay Dilla, you got House Shoes. Like, yeah, and then like you think about Pittsburgh and you're looking at it and you're like, all right, well, we got Wiz. No,
Yeah.
I mean, not that we didn't have people before that. Not that McKeesport didn't have people. Not that Dr. Dre wasn't, plucking people from McKeesport like Sam Snead to work on beats.
Yeah.
We didn't have Melman. Not that we didn't have music, but like, Pittsburgh's a fucking hating ass city, dude. People are afraid to like chase what they want to go after, and they fucking drag people through the dirt who do go after it because they're too big of pussies to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to try to drag someone down.
And I feel like that it's easier for someone that was in your position or my position, like being in around there all the time, like seeing, like we have mixtapes, like all them like release parties and things like that. You see who fucking likes each other and who hates, and like who doesn't support people that like very well should get support. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people have said that like Pittsburgh is like, a city that like Germ was talking about it. Like whenever I asked him why he wanted to move,
It's a negative ass city, dude.
that's what he said. And like, and I never really thought about that before because like, I guess like it's all like, everyone wants like the whole like movie, like fairy tale type thing where everyone's just like, yeah, man, I can't wait to see you get to where you fucking want to be. But everyone's rather just be like, kick you off. It's king of the hill. People just want to fucking kick you down.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
It's you can take that type of shit for how you want to. You can take it for what it's worth. People from Pittsburgh being people from Pittsburgh, you know what I mean? Or you can like kind of let it fuel your fire, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
I think you're right though. People take it and they could either let them eat you up, or you could just like feed off of that.
Yeah, like what the fuck do I care about what some kid from Harmerville has to say about me?
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Or like some kid from New Kent saying like,
Yeah, like-
give it up, dude. Like not that like personally I've seen shit like that.
Yeah, but
from
like
me. But like, or
some
like,
people have a different mindset where that kind of shit really gets to them, where like, a random comment on Instagram like will fuck someone's like mental state up. But I mean, I guess I'm just like desensitized to it because like I grew up like a fat kid that was getting made fun of and shit. Like,
I mean, it's just like you gotta take it.
I don't know.
When you put it into perspective that most of these people, it just like, I don't even want to say jealous, but maybe they don't want to see you do it because they can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like, why? Like the easiest thing to do is discredit somebody. Try to discredit them. Then like people that are fucking with them aren't gonna be.
Yeah, and then I mean, like all social media nowadays gives everyone like this crazy platform. Yeah, and it's interesting to see, and it's interesting because like I mean, while you were working there, were all the Instagram wasn't around, right?
That was like later on.
That's what I thought.
That was like later on, and then like it was like because if you remember, Instagram was originally just an iOS app.
Was it?
Like just an Apple app. Yeah, I had a Droid. We couldn't get it for like a while. So like it wasn't as popping. Now Twitter was super popping at the time.
Yeah. I do remember that.
Twitter was super popping, but like Instagram not as much.
Now Timebomb was like nationally known.
Yeah.
Like you had people that were traveling all over to come and like
oh yeah, for sure. We had one kid, I think his name's Michael. Visiting, he was from Paris.
Really?
Visiting family, like not even in Pittsburgh, but like probably the greater metropolitan area.
Yeah.
And that was like his first stop where he wanted to come. Like kids from Germany. We had these two brothers that lived in Boulder, Colorado, that every 2 or 3 times a year would come to shop. Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah. I mean, and like, you know, not that we weren't nationally known, anything like that, but like, you know, Mac helped that a lot.
Well,
What's that store in the video? Where can I get that throw your L's up big L shirt that Joe Boots did?
Yeah.
Timebomb website,
now,
AdSense, everything like that.
Was Timebomb like was it popping pretty heavy like before like whenever before
we were
you
popping
worked
in the
there?
streets heavy. Yeah, in the streets heavy it was popping. Like you go down LA, well the real Larmer Ave.
Yeah.
You know. And you know that was the spot. That was street money. And then like what the Mac and the Wiz stuff did brought kids in like me, suburb kids. Not that there weren't already, but
no, but
it was
exposed
bringing
it
kids
more
from Uniontown.
because that
like,
Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza video, it's like the whole video he's walking through and shit, and you see all that shit.
If someone who's on the rise like that is gonna do an in-store signing, they're gonna do it at Timebomb.
Yeah.
So kids, like Mac signing was at Timebomb.
Yeah.
And he shopped with us. So those kids liked his music, wanted to meet him, liked what he wore.
And it was all
three were encompassed right there in that store.
Yeah.
So yeah, they came for him, but they're going to keep coming back
because they see what's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's man, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
It is insane, like, because it is it's a powerful place. I mean, like, it's a powerful place. You go there and, like, you know, I've been there for a bunch of different, like, you know, listening parties, like 58s and shit, all down there. And it was like, you know, like, it was very, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, that's what you think of whenever you think of like mixtapes and shit like that, because I don't know of any other place that I've ever went that had just mixtapes out and like access for you to be able to like get on like some local hip hop artists and shit, because like not everyone shit was online back then.
No. And you could just be there and you could run into Bo.
Yeah.
You could run into Beatty. You could run into Mac. So, you know, that drew people in, and like once a week, invariably, somebody would come by. Can I shoot a video in here?
Oh yeah.
You know,
it's all day now.
Yeah. People, you know, they knew
what was like,
they knew they knew we were influential and other people's come up.
Yeah.
So it becomes, you know, and then
everyone wants parts.
Yeah.
Of being like a touch of like, they want to, I get what you're saying. It's, but it's harder to explain it. Now, as far as like you said, you were there for 5 years.
Yeah.
More or less. Yeah. More or less there for 5 years. So in that time, like, you like, did you guys ever have like any negative experiences with anything? Like were you guys ever like looked down upon because of like any of the crowd that was like coming, like as far as like hip hop or anything?
I mean, we're on South Highland Ave.
That's what I mean. Like that's why I asked.
Like you had Buffalo Blues next door, and then you had Mad Mex.
What's that place across the street that was like
Gas Ball?
Yeah, that's
yeah. So you know you have like a yuppier crowd, but like we would just be outside like, you know, drinking Turner's tea.
Yeah.
We would have like we used to have the T-Bird come up.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Trunk full of Turner's. Shout out my boy Teddy for that. And then, you know, we would be out there drinking. It was just like, but you would get some side stares, but a lot of people, you know, you would think they're going to walk by and like say something under their breath, but they thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Or they were at least intrigued. Like, what's going on? These people we were all having a good time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People see that for the most part and they're like, well, those people are having fun. Let's go.
Yeah. Like anytime we'll have a DJ or something, people
you
just
would get the
mosey
people
in.
that'd be like, oh,
yeah, you
fucking
guys are
hoodlums.
causing a ruckus.
Which, I mean, a lot of times we were, but
Yeah, that's all right though. It's like
it's all part of that. You know
it's
what
all
I mean?
part of it. So like so you're working at this Timebomb shit, and it's like the main thing is like, I mean, you network.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like, it's like
people wanted to know me because I was a part of it.
exactly like that's what it is. It's like you want to like you know get into being cool with these people and like know that. So you're making music the whole time you're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, like I brought my laptop to work like every day.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Brick, we might need to blog something.
Yeah.
We might need to get new product up on the website, and it was just easier for me to do it on my computer.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if we're slow, you know,
Yeah,
I might be trying to work on something. A lot of times it'd be like, you know, we'd be slow for like 2 hours getting somewhere, and then like somebody would pop in and just want to bullshit for
Exactly.
like 2 hours.
Yeah, and you're just like, can't do nothing there. But it's like you're doing all this music, and it's definitely easy to get it out to people because like, you know, you're there, people know who you are just by like seeing you. Like, did you like you think that definitely like helped you out with like as far as music shit?
It helped me with networking, like people trusting me and wanting to work with me.
Yeah.
But really, I didn't drop anything until like I wasn't really working there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So like a lot of people, there's definitely people that stopped, like that would be hitting me up all the time, either to chill or like see anything. And then like they, you know, we moved up to Garfield. I wasn't really working there anymore.
Yeah.
And, you know, people lost interest in me in a certain extent. Like certain people, not like everyone. People that matter, people that were like the people I still want to work with, didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, so like you're saying because like, you know, like you're not being directly involved with there anymore, like some people will phase out.
Yeah, and it's like,
you see who it is and like
it's like I'm still there every Saturday.
Yeah.
Still kicking it, like still with Brick all the time, but it's just like people think you don't have like the pull anymore, which like may or may not be true, but I also don't have a desire to try to help put anyone on.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have the lack of desire, but I'm working on my own shit. I don't have the free time anymore to like trying to be like,
you're trying to do your own shit. Like whatever happens with it happens with it. Yeah. And like it's cool because like, you know, I assume that Brick is the same. Like anytime I've had interactions with him, super cool dude. Mm-hmm. You know, like I assume that he's the same way that I feel about the owner of Threads. Like he's just like a mentor to the point where like, you know, it's a mentor to the point where it's not like your typical like cookie cutter fucking, you know, school counselor type mentor, but like it's a person that's versed in life but also has a like mindset, you know? And it's rare whenever you could find someone that's like doing something and you know, that means something to you and that you actually like want to, you know, we're adults now, so we have very limited free time. To be able to just give your free time to people, like those people have to be important. And that's like why I do this shit at Threads, is because like, you know, like I work there because like like we were talking about before, it's like it's powerful to be a part of that. Like you're known as a part of that. Yeah. And you know, like they go hand in hand, Threads and like Timebomb and shit. It's like the same type of shit.
Absolutely.
But it's like and that's why I find it so interesting with you and like, you know, your whole like coming up with all that stuff, because like being in that store and like seeing like, you know, I remember when we were at our old shop over there right next to Starbucks, it was real small, and like Wapo would come in, and like it was before he had any sort of like buzz, you know, like he was definitely buzzing to the people like that were in the streets and like knew of him, but you know, he's national exposure now because like you have all different kinds of people coming in, like because we have some of his shirts every different type of person you could see coming in and seeing that. But like how you were talking about, you see the coming up of people and like how they start like, you know, taking off, and it's cool because like you see these people like still showing you the same type of energy that they were back beforehand, and like those are the people, you know, that are like real, like Hardo for instance.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
that dude is like, he, you know, he's been so like cool with us and like just very true to us, always come in and like would like be a good dude.
Yeah, he's a thorough dude. I remember my little cousin Logan, like he was 13, about to turn 14 I think, and Hardo was his favorite rapper.
Yeah.
So for his birthday, I took him over to Hardo's house, like his crib, and we were chilling and everything. And like, you know, that had to be a cool experience. At like 14, if you would have taken me to like my favorite rapper, like Nas or MF Doom or something, Kanye, I would have been geeking. So it was cool to be able to do that for him. But it was just super cut up. Like he was asking, like, yeah, he's a cool dude, he's a funny dude. And he was asking my little cousin, like my little cousin's 13, innocent as fuck, you know. He's like, so you getting any pussy yet? And like, dude, my cousin kept it a buck, was like, no. Like, you know, just like real meekish, like real meekly was like, no, not yet. And then
that's funny though, because
within like 2 years he had like a kid. You know what I mean? Like super wild. Like I'm not saying I like blame Hardo, but it was just, you know, it's like it's a funny coincidence. Like
that's something that people will never forget ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that type of shit. I guess you know, the one day I wasn't working at Threads, fucking Post Malone rolled in.
Oh, word.
Yeah, Post Malone was there and bought a couple like some bomber jackets and shit like that. It's just like it's wild. Like we were over, you know who Amir is? Amir is like a heavy, like a metal band, but this dude Frankie Palmieri is the lead singer, and like they're a very well known band in that genre. But like I went down, I wasn't working that day, but I walked over to Threads because the show was at Rex, and you know, the owner was like, "Who are you guys going to see?" And I put on a song, and it, you know, it's fucking just like Havoc, just screaming and everything. And this motherfucker walks in, and I was like, going to see that dude right there. Dude is super weird though, super weird. He's always been weird, but like I feel like that made him super uncomfortable because like he walked into this store and like we're bumping his music or whatever. But it was just a very awkward time because like, you know, I didn't know the fucker was gonna walk in.
Yeah,
but
man, I get told I look like a lot of people, but Post Malone is the most offensive.
Post Malone? People tell you look like Post Malone?
I'm just a generic looking white dude. I guess I don't have like distinguished features or something. Like, 'cause I always look like somebody like who's the quarterback the Browns just drafted?
Oh, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I got told like 3 times Friday I look like him. It will be like nobody says that I look like somebody, and then all of a sudden one person will say it and I look like them. Like, and it's just like, dude, I'm just like a white guy with like a shitty beard, like glasses, brown hair, and blue eyes. So like apparently I look like every other white dude with brown hair, square glasses, a shitty beard, and blue eyes. Like I've always gotten it. Like
I fuck with Post Malone.
I fuck with Post Malone.
I don't think you look like him whatsoever, but I fuck with Post Malone.
Yeah,
what kind of shit do you listen to nowadays as far as like newer people?
My favorite rapper right now is Your Old Droog. Has been for like the last 4 years.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, man. He's from like Coney Island.
How do you spell it?
YOUR space OLD space DROOG. Droog is like Ukrainian or Russian for friend.
Oh, really?
It's like from like Clockwork Orange. So it's your old friend.
Yeah.
He had a lot of different aliases prior to that, or like names like Grandma on the drums, aka God, God.
Wow.
Grandma on the drums. Super dope. When he first came out, like his project kind of popped up on a lot of people's radar because people thought it was Nas pitched down.
What you mean, like as far as a sound?
His voice, like his vocal tone, and like some like, you know, these hip hop conspiracy theorists, like some people were like, well, he said Illmatic, like so it must be Nas because his voice somewhat resembles him, and like he had an older rhyme style, like the beats were like sonically, like it was really dope. It's not what was coming out in 2014.
Yeah.
I really like Wiki from Rat King. Rat King.
You're way into you're like heavy into the underground shit.
Yeah. Well, Rat King actually didn't in store with us. Like that wiki dude's like popping now. Like underground to an extent. Hemi from Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Super nice.
New tape's crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely dope.
Jack Harlow, super
I know
tight.
who that is, yeah.
Jack Harlow's super tight.
Now you listen to music a lot though? Like are you someone that's always listening to music?
Yeah. For what I want to accomplish in my lifetime with music, I need to be like I need to always be working on music. And I didn't always consider working on music actively making new music.
No,
I need
but
to
consuming
study
it. Yeah, you're consuming it and you're gaining inspiration from different things.
Absolutely.
That's why like I don't even really listen to a lot of new shit. Like the only time I'm ever like, keeping up on stuff is like if I'm at Threads, like I'll build playlists and I'll put on like whatever's popping, like Daily Louds playlist or something like that, and I'll fucking like I'll listen to all this shit and I'll hear all the new stuff, but like honestly, dude, outside of work there, I don't listen to music. I listen to fucking podcasts all day, every day.
Podcasts like I have to be in the mood.
Yeah.
Normally it's on my ride into work in like the first hour or two.
Yeah.
That's like I listen to your podcast pretty religiously.
I appreciate that.
Bill Burr's.
Yeah.
All the time, and like occasionally Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But honestly, like between yours and Bill Burr's, like that's about like what I can do.
I have a lot. The long podcasts are a lot. Like some people, I feel.
I was listening to Noah's today, and like that shit just like ran through. Like at one point, you're like, "Well, we're about 2 hours in," and I was like, "No, we aren't."
Dude, I was talking to him, and it wouldn't. Like we could have kept going, and I'm just like, "Fuck, we can't keep talking for 3 hours." Someone just have him on again.
Another band I'm listening to is Scratchy Blanket.
Scratchy Blanket.
Yeah, they dropped like a little EP called "Please Love Me," and they're super dope. They're from Pittsburgh too.
Scratchy Blanket. Is it hip hop?
Nah, it's like. On Apple Music, it's under the category punk. I wouldn't characterize it that way.
Okay.
But it's dope. And it's only like 10 minutes long.
Scratchy
but they're
Blanket.
tight. Yeah.
I'll fuck with that.
I listen to a lot of non-hip-hop stuff. Like,
that's what I was just going to ask you. Like, are you mainly a hip-hop person, or are you like, whatever you're feeling?
Yeah, I kind of what I'm feeling. Like, it's normally going to be hip-hop. If not, it's going to be like jazz or soul.
Yeah.
And then like I have my days where I'm like listening to like Taking Back Sunday or something like that.
Gotta have those days.
Yeah. I got into them like mad late though. And that's again, my boy Sean put me onto them. Like I never would have listened to him, but he showed me like 3 songs from them and I was just like, damn.
See, while you were in like the real hip hop shit, I was in that.
Yeah.
Like that was my world, was like going to those shows, learning those type of bands, like the emo phase and all that shit. Like I was heavy into it, dude. I had the Bieber swoop before Bieber did. But
I had like the emo hip hop phase, like I was listening to like a lot of Atmosphere and like rhymes like
Kid Cudi and shit
and
like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's understandable. I could definitely think that would be what was going on. So like anyway, so like what's like the move now? Like what are you're just working on music and shit like that?
Yeah, I've been just like stacking up. Like I really like after I dropped my last project, I kind of like fell back from making music, more studying again.
Yeah.
Trying to get the energy back, and then I've just been making a ton of music and I want to just like stockpile and then start releasing like 2019. Like,
you've been rapping ever? Were you ever a rapper? I know
mean,
you have
like
some tracks.
Everyone who's into this shit at least as much as I am
has tried.
Like there's definitely old videos you can find me on like YouTube rapping. Like I posted it like maybe last week or 2 weeks ago on my IG story. There's this old video of me and my boys rapping on the old Timebomb bridge. It's me, my boy Jay Waller, my boy Jay Will, and then Trilzy, if you remember Trilzy.
Yeah,
Rest in peace, Trilzy. But he went by Tay Stacks at the time. That was like my guy. And there's like this old, like shit you have no one ever fucking sees. You know what I mean?
You went by Billy Hoyle?
They were probably calling me Bowser and that.
Okay.
But it was always like I would never rap, and then they'd be like, "Come on, Bowser!" And that day I was just like, "Fuck you guys!" Like I'll do it real quick.
Yeah.
And then, but like my guy Dan Steislinger, he went to Plum. He grew up in Holiday Park. He's probably like the best. I hate saying like natural musician because that like takes away how much hard work he put into it.
Yeah.
He's a super gifted dude though. One of the best musicians I've ever met. We were like super into Weird Al in like elementary school.
That was my first show of all time.
That was my first show
Where
at
at?
Myrtle Beach.
Oh, okay.
We were like, you know, I had to go to all my sister shows. I went to like Backstreet Boys, like Christina Aguilera.
Yep.
We're in Myrtle Beach. Weird Al came around. I did that. But me and him back in the day would.
Dude, that shit was dope.
Yeah, I'd bring around my cassette tape and.
Dude, Amish Paradise.
We would do Weird Al raps like about the dentist and shit like that. So.
The dopest thing ever. I went to see him at the Pepsi, what's right in Station Square.
Yeah,
it was right whenever the Jedi song came out, and
He's
like
so
people were dressed as fucking.
Michael Jackson fucked with him heavy. Like Michael Jackson actually like would tell people like, no, let him do the parody.
Oh yeah,
because like a lot of times he had to get permission from the artist
absolutely.
to do that, and a lot of people were hesitant. But like Michael Jackson was like a big advocate for.
What was your favorite Weird Al song?
Probably just Eat It.
Eat It?
Yeah. I don't know. Like really all the Michael Jackson, like Amish Paradise is obviously like a classic.
Yeah.
Coolio's actually from like fucking Monessen.
Is he?
Yeah, dude. He has an old song where he's like rolling through the streets of Monessen. Yeah. Like, I mean, like he was
I just saw a video online of Coolio on one of them bungee roller coasters.
You can hire him right now. He'll come cook dinner at your crib.
What?
Yeah, you can hire.
We should go halves on that.
Yeah, for sure. You can. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like,
his video was him on that bungee thing with some young ass girl, and he's sitting there, dead face, just rapping "Gangster's Paradise," like trying not to be scared. But Weird Al was definitely that was my shit back in the day. Like Santa Went Crazy, like that was definitely my shit,
dude. I liked That's Just Shown Monessen.
That is insane.
Yeah, bro.
I cannot believe that. Monessen, August 1st, 1963, artist Leon Ivy Jr. lived in Monessen, Pennsylvania, and later moved to Compton, California.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's
right?
fucking insane.
Yeah, that's just like that stupid, useless hip hop trivia that I have, like never gonna come in effect.
Yeah, random ass shit.
Talk about like Western PA shit.
That's all right though. Like that's exactly what this is for right here.
Yeah, dude. You just completely lost track over the fact that Coolio's the man.
Yeah, like it's pretty wild.
And I don't know if like him coming to your house to cook a meal is like awesome or like super depressing.
I bet it's whatever you make it.
Well, I mean like that he's doing that. Like, is he resorting to that now, or is it just like, oh, this is tight, I'm Coolio, I'm gonna go cook for people?
That's a good point. Who knows?
Man's not out here like struggling like that, but that's all I'm saying.
His hair's struggling still.
Bro, yeah.
Just cut it off already.
Dude,
just shave it right off. All right. So the plan is music, just making music, and you're just stacking up.
2019, start releasing things. I'm working on a few projects right now. I'm working on another project that was like me and Moma and Eyes, that just us two. There was no features on that. Maybe this one will have a feature, but I'm working on a project with my boy Remo Wise. Had a legendary Pittsburgh hip hop mixtape back in the day. Gluck's Grilled Cheese and Haze.
Wow,
shit's crazy.
I've never heard that. I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Yeah, man. I'll find you a copy. I have it on my computer. It's pretty difficult to get. That dropped like pre-Dat Piff type shit.
Oh, okay.
It was on Dat Piff, but you know, like that.
That's all.
Website's bunk as fuck. I don't even know if it works.
Yeah, I don't.
Working on with him, dude. He's a super good dude. Great rapper. Trying to, build with hubs. We've talked before about doing projects. Everything, is about coming to fruition, but hopefully do that. I'm definitely stockpiling beats right now just to get to him. Working on another project where it is going to be like, do you remember Soul to Soul?
Yeah.
They had it's like my favorite. Brick used to give me shit about this all the time, but it was like my favorite not even like Pittsburgh mixtape back in the day, just like favorite music. It was called Back to Reality. Drastic dropped it, but it was all just Pittsburgh rappers.
Yeah.
Over like Pittsburgh producer beats. And I want to do like a Static Selecta type like joint like that. All my production.
That would be dope.
Get like I got a track with Shad Ali on there for it. That's already done.
I was in one of his music videos.
That's my guy, dude.
I was in one of his music videos with Hubs.
Oh, word?
It was me and the Blasphemy dudes. We came over to Timebomb because I think someone called him and was like, "Yo, Hubs needs some people in a video," and I was wearing an all Murdered Out 58 hoodie in there.
Dope.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I forgot about that, but ever since then, dude, Hubs has like always remembered who I am.
Dude,
said
he's
what's up.
such a genuinely good dude.
Such a good ass dude.
We have like I talk to him a lot. We have a lot of really good conversations about like.
I just really respect like his outlook on everything. Like I respect how he is on Facebook, because like there's certain ways to go about things on Facebook and there's certain ways to not go about things. And like, you know, like I like listening. I like reading what he has to say, because like he has a very, very like everything's just logical. There's some people that
he's analytical, you know what I mean? He thinks things through before opening a mouth.
Exactly.
He's more like observe, you know, listen and observe.
Exactly. And
form an opinion
and poke some holes into what people are saying with facts.
Yeah, and he's aware of his own fallacies of things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're aware of things like that, you can already know someone's counter argument, you know, and you can plan that out. I mean, if you can see the holes in your strategy, you can see how someone's going to counter it.
Yeah, for sure.
So like you already have like that backup plan. But dude, he's just a super thorough dude.
Super intelligent, like fucking,
great dude.
You know, just always good to talk to.
Him, Goldsmith. I have Shad Ali, Hubs, Mo Monday on, Reem will be on there too. Goldsmith, Seth, aka Crystal Seth. We got like a crazy
That's the name
joint
that
on that.
I knew him as, is Crystal Seth.
Yeah.
That was a minute
Crystal
ago.
Seth Addicts, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that back in the day.
Yeah.
Crystal Seth.
That's my guy, dude. I love that dude.
He just he retweeted some shit on it on Twitter. I appreciate that. I followed him.
Shout out Seth.
Yeah, shout out Seth. Crystal Seth.
Shout out all the Goldsmiths.
Yeah, dude. Like it's
Jesse,
cool.
David, Marlene, and Seth.
Ain't it dope how to like? It's dope to see the people that you were coming up with and how they.
Oh, Seth's killing it.
How
bro.
people are like coming to be. Do you know what I mean?
Great story. Since I brought up Goldsmith, aka Seth, Action Bronson, like me and Brick were like on Action, like he first started popping up on XM radio. Time for Some Action featuring Little Fame of MOP, Static Selecta beat. It was from a Static Selecta album. He started popping up and we were like, who the fuck's this dude? And Brick's tight with Static. He put us on game. Action's first show in Pittsburgh. Afterwards, he came over Seth's crib and recorded the track that they have together.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Like Seth's parents' crib. Like
that's
crazy.
Where he had,
like, his studio set up. It was so dope.
How
Big
weird
Body
is
Bez
this?
was there.
Yeah, dude. That's my favorite show. Fuck That's Delicious.
Great. Dude.
I cannot get enough of them.
That was probably like 2013.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, dude, it was such a cool experience. That was like our first time, I would say, with a bigger artist in the studio like that wasn't from Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? And like his process, it's cool to see other artists like creative process.
Yeah, how they work and shit.
Sat down, needed like, a joint and a piece of paper and then just a beat on loop. He wrote it. He banged it out real quick. And then like,
that one episode of him in, I think it was Jamaica, he found some random like homeless Jamaican dude and just brought him over to the studio and he just has this like foot long cone and like these dudes are just in there and he's like coaching this dude on like how to like, say it with authentic like Jamaican like accent and shit like that. And, like you were saying, like, people's different creative processes are very interesting.
It was super cool to see how professional he was too.
Yeah.
He wasn't coming over to like bullshit, half-ass a verse and drink or just smoke or something. Like, he got in there, he got in his zone. We're all very respectful of that. You know, we weren't
respectful of the time.
Yeah, and you know, he came in, banged that shit out. They made a good, like, great song together.
That's dope.
That shit was dope.
It's definitely cool. Who was probably your most memorable person meeting in your time? It's like, I know that there had to be a lot of people.
Yeah. The one, before I get to that, the one thing I would say is, like, you know, they always say never meet your idols.
Yeah.
Maybe I just have the right idols, because, like, everyone I've ever met in this shit that's, like, a celebrity or anything has just, like, been so cool. So
that's
humble.
Awesome.
Like, I mean, like, Tony Touch, just, like, fucking super cool, like, chilling with us. Static, like, everyone. But
yeah,
we said my favorite.
Yeah,
person.
your favorite. That meant the most to you. Like, I asked Germ the same thing, because, like, it's rare whenever you find someone that is, like, down to earth, that has had the opportunity to be around certain people. And I asked him, I was like, what meant the most to you? And he was like, probably, like, you know, the first thing that, like, really meant something to me was, like, recording Juicy J. Like, he was like, I listened to that. He was like, I grew up on that shit, and, like, I'm working with that dude. He was like, that shit means stuff to you. Yeah,
absolutely, man. I would say, like, chilling and kicking it with house shoes.
Yeah.
I really, I mean, it's not like it's some prolific thing to say, but I love Jay Dilla. And House Shoes was very influential in that. And he was like, he is to Detroit what I would love to be for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, people got, I mean, that dude, he's just cool as fuck. Like,
It's awesome that everyone was cool, though.
And I mean, I was, you know, at first I was real nervous.
Yeah, because, like,
you don't know how people are going to be, like, dickheads or anything.
Exactly. Some people were fucking assholes.
Yeah. And House Shoes, though, and, like, we brought them at one point, this bar, Round Corner Cantina on Butler Street.
Yeah.
My cousin Joey is, like, a manager, bartender there, and we know the owner, and they kind of wanted us to get involved. We did this thing called, like, the Gold Series. We got my boy DJ Bamboo involved in that. He DJ'd there, like, every Friday. We only played, like, classic golden era hip hop.
Yeah.
And then one Friday a month we'd bring in, like, a celebrity DJ. And we brought in House Shoes, and, like, he's a great DJ, he's a great producer. As are all the people I've had the pleasure of meeting. But the crazy part about him was, like, I got to hear, like, unreleased Jay Dilla tracks. You can't find him on the fucking internet, dude. You can't find him anywhere.
That's crazy.
And, like, he would be spinning the original tracks, and just, like, his transitions into the Dilla beats and shit were just, like, so smooth. I mean,
that's what's
so
up.
Dope.
That's
he used to have
cool.
a residency, I think, at, like, either Ava Lounge or Shadow Lounge back in the day too. Like, before we were
Shadow
21
Lounge.
and everything. Yeah, dude, that was
pivotal
Shadow Lounge
place.
was the shit, bro.
It's another pivotal place.
Yeah, man. I met so many people there for the first time. Like, you know, you're talking to people on social media and shit, and, like,
and
you already feel like you
there
know him. But,
shit.
like, my boy P Fish, first time I met him was there. Probably Vinny, Radio, and Franchise.
Yeah, that was the first place I met Vinny and Fran, because and it was for the One B White show.
Yeah, me and Vin always.
That was
had,
the first place I met Beatty too.
Yeah. Me and Vin always had the inside joke that we were, like, cousins. Like, we'd always, like, and we would, like, sell it to people too. Like, man, I didn't see you at the fucking family reunion. It was good. Like, and, like, you know, it would just, like, mess people up. But that was always fun. But yeah, all those dudes. Like, that was, like, the meeting ground. Meet, you know, girls there, shit like that.
Yeah.
Go outside, like.
Yeah, just being a place that
hit the fucking dumpsters with a mop or something like that. You know what I mean? Just, like, just kid stuff. But, like, shit you didn't, you know. I wanted my whole life to be like that, but I didn't get the experience in Plum. And then, like, all that shit happened. Timebomb and Shadow Lounge were within, like, 2 blocks of each other, and I felt like that's where I really grew up and felt comfortable. And, like,
yeah, dude, that's where, like, you have experiences. That's how you
met so many good people. Like,
that's what's up, dude. That's why we're definitely very similar. I feel
absolutely.
like we have a very.
I definitely know for a fact too that people aren't going to be, like, able to tell us apart on the podcast. I feel like, because our, like, vocal tones are super similar.
You think?
Anna was, like, me and Anna were listening. My friend Anna.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, we're listening to it the one day, and we're talking about me coming on and everything. And she was like, "Can I tell you something?" And I was like, "Yeah, but before you go, is it that me and Shad sound exactly alike?" She was like, "Yeah, fucking exactly."
I
alike.
can't say my CHs or my SHs, so that's how people will be able
Okay,
to.
word. Yeah, I feel like the vocal tone.
I have a
like,
fucking speech impediment. I can't even say my first name correctly. It's just like I started off bad.
I stuttered a little bit when I was a kid. Like,
It's all right.
I would just be nervous.
Fuck it. Fuck it. Who gives a shit?
I used to not be able to speak in front of like crowds and shit. I'd like tear up.
That shit never really worried me. By the way, I appreciate you. You know what? I did not expect you to be someone that would show up to the comedy competition whenever you rolled up. Very surprising. Honestly, out of anyone that I seen there, you surprised me more than anyone. And I seriously appreciate you coming.
Absolutely.
Like that
I try to support everyone, you know.
I know, and that's why, like, you know, you're a real.
Yeah, you were also fucking hilarious. It wasn't like
I appreciate
when
it.
I came back the second time. It was like, you know, I just wanted to see that shit. That shit was dope. Like
I was happy with how it went, and I think that the response of like my friends and everyone that like came out to like support, kind of like, you know, it definitely made me more nervous, but like it also made me like feel good that there was people that were like inevitably gonna laugh in the beginning and then tell me I sucked later if it was that. But you know what I mean? It was I that was one thing that I did appreciate.
yeah, nah, man, that was great. That was really, really fun.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you got to keep that shit up, man. Keep grinding. I know it's tough though.
It is. It's just. Dude, this fucking.
You had like the natural charisma. Some dudes were up there trying to be comedians. You were being yourself.
Yeah, like I'm not worried about it at all. Like I know how it is up there now. So like it's just I have other things that are more of a priority right now. Like this podcast is this is pretty much everything I want right now.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's like this is I feel like that this is a real chance for me to be able to like do some shit with this.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
It's a different like there's no one in this city right now. And it's not even me saying this as far as like being like boastful and shit, but there's no one in the city that's like kind of doing the same type of shit with the range of people. You know,
I was gonna say that's a big thing.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I really want is I don't need every single person on here to be like some prestigious, you know, like I'm a fucking like rapper, I'm a fucking this, I do this weird type of job. Like you ever see People of New York, that website or the Facebook page? So it's just a photographer that started this, like, it's like a blog. He would go around and take a photo of someone in New York and just like write a post of like, you know, something that person said to them.
Oh, cool.
And it's always been like my favorite thing on Facebook ever is to just like, it will take a picture of some random guy and it'll be like, oh, I was this back then. And like, you know, so interesting. And like my whole goal is like, of course, like I'm like fortunate enough to like know cool people who've done cool shit that like want to be on here. Like B White hit me up today and he was like, let's get this fucking podcast going. So I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. But I also want it to be, you know, people that like don't know, like random people don't know who you are.
Yeah, for
you know
sure.
what I mean? It's different than like someone hearing like a fucking, you know, famous magician or comedian or something.
Yeah.
But like everyone is just like, everyone has their own fucking story and it's all interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But all right. So you ready for the best part of the podcast?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. End of the podcast. Desert Island questions. You're a big Office fan. You know where it comes from.
All right, yeah.
3 categories for each person. Each person gets 3 choices for each category to take with them, Desert Island, to use, watch, and read over and over and over again. So the first category is movies.
Yeah, I was listening to Noah's podcast earlier, and I stopped right here because I didn't want to be influenced or like, you know, not say anything because he did. Movies, I feel like people aren't really gonna fuck with the movies I picked.
Doesn't matter. No one's on the island with you.
Yeah, that's true. Fuck them. Man, so 3. I don't know.
I can cut out any downtime.
What's that?
I could cut out any downtime if there is any.
Okay. Can I take like a collection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can take any collection of movie, any series of a TV show. So
Okay.
like people will say like, oh, I want like afterthought was like, I want the whole series of Bear Grylls.
Oh, that's wow, that's dope.
It's a good answer, right?
Yeah, that's oh man. So movies, if I can take a collection, I'll pick one collection, then two just movies.
Okay.
And it's gonna be very difficult for me to choose between these two sets. It'd either be Godfather, like the Godfather collection,
Yeah.
or Star Wars.
Okay.
I'd probably take Star Wars.
Noah said Star Wars.
Did he?
Yeah.
He also probably said Planet of the Apes, didn't he?
Yeah, that's I could have assumed that though.
Yeah.
That's what I said. He was like, "Why would you assume that?" I was like, "Look at your
would've-
fucking house." Dude.
I kind of assumed he probably said Star Wars too.
Yeah. Which is a big surprise. I didn't know he was a Star Wars head.
Yeah. Beatty is too. Yeah.
I feel like that me and him are gonna have an interesting conversation if he decides
he's such
to come
an
on
dude.
here.
He's so
excited
interesting.
about it.
Like, so I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah,
but
I don't even want to
his-
know about him.
His
because, like,
grandparents and stuff.
I'm excited.
Ill.
We need
Mom
to. We're
ill,
gonna talk
dad
about
ill.
this.
Yeah. So I'd probably take Star Wars.
Okay.
Need some gangster ass shit. I'd probably either take Paid in Full or Menace to Society.
Okay.
Probably Paid in Full.
That's your favorite out of them.
like the
out of like the you know
hood flicks
yeah
and
the hood
that,
flicks.
I would between that and like Menace to Society, like I love the ending of Menace to Society, like where you find out he was dead the whole time, like
Yeah.
retelling the story, Kane and everything. But like Peyton, I'm a big Dipset fan,
Yeah.
and I love Cam, so like him as Rico and
That's a good movie. Like
Wood Harris, Mekhi Phifer, like that was just like
yeah, like that's a good
coming
movie.
like it between those two and Juice. Like I love
Oh,
Juice too.
Juice
I
is
used to
real
watch
good.
that religiously,
Steele was my dude.
and fuck man, this is tough. Like because Kids 2 is up there for me. I used to love that movie.
Yeah, like that
It's
was a
too
big
fucked
thing.
up for me now. I probably couldn't watch it.
Oh, I
But
watched
yeah.
it not long ago. It's still.
I
like-
get to the point where Shorty with the blonde hair
yeah.
finds out, you know, she's in the
Yeah.
cab and
Yeah,
everything.
you're just
They're
like,
going to the, and I'm like,
life is
I'm
beautiful.
Good.
Yeah.
And like I could probably cut to the end and just see Casper like,
Yeah, he's like,
waking
"What the
up,
fuck happened?"
Like I could watch that over and over, but the rest is like way too
It really is. It's just
depressing.
it's a lot. It is a lot.
I'll say Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you take kids to a desert island.
I'd kill myself like sooner than I normally would be
Yeah.
on a desert island.
Star Wars, Paid in Full.
Paid in Full.
And you said the Godfather series.
I only want to take one series though. It's cheating to take like 30
I respect
fucking
that.
movies. I don't know, probably like something like The Departed.
Okay.
I love The Departed.
I thought you were gonna say White Man Can't Jump.
It's tough to say because like I watched that movie so much
Yeah,
my entire life. Like as a little kid, junior high, high
you
school,
could just
college.
play that in your head over and over.
Yeah.
Again. You don't have to waste it on that. The Departed is a good one though.
I
That's-
love The Departed.
That's
and
not the first time someone said that.
That's up there with one of the movies I've probably seen way too many times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just made Antoinette watch it like last month, 2 months ago.
I
And she
love
was
that
like, "What
movie.
the fuck?"
Yeah.
Okay, so I ask everyone else the side question too: Casino or Goodfellas?
Oh man.
I feel like I know what you're gonna pick. Like
Joe Pesci's like the same person in each movie.
he is, but I mean, go
What
ahead.
do you think I'm gonna say?
I think
Or,
you're
you
gonna
know,
pick Goodfellas.
It's Goodfellas, yeah.
I knew you were gonna pick
Yeah,
it.
Goodfellas. I don't know if it's like one of those things where it's like
The nostalgic works into it.
it like there was always this big debate like who bit who, Eminem or Master Ace, and it's like which one did I hear first is going
Yeah.
to be the one that I think the other one bit,
That's a good point.
and it's like I saw Goodfellas first. So
Yeah.
like the the nostalgia kicks in that like I saw it before I saw Casino, so it's like there's more sentimental.
I saw Goodfellas first, then I saw Casino way later.
I saw Casino way later.
Yeah,
too.
way later. Like I'm talking like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, so, like same here.
And I saw Goodfellas a minute ago, but it ruins it for me whenever fucking he's all manic at the end, all coked out, and the helicopters are chasing him. Like that seriously genuinely gives me anxiety. That whole
Yeah, I hear you.
half hour.
That's
but, like,
another movie I really can't watch the ending.
It
Same
probably
with, like,
has
Blow. I can't like watch the ending.
Yeah,
of
that's
Blow.
fucked up. Seeing that, I don't even want to see what he really looks like. He's fucked
George
up.
Young, yeah.
He probably looks better than the real Johnny Depp does right now, though.
Probably.
Ugh.
I just like really like Ray Liotta.
Oh yeah, he's the man.
And like, not that I don't like De Niro, but it's like I just feel like
Yeah, he was good for sure.
I really didn't like
He had a really good interview on Mark Maron.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta. You should listen to it.
De Niro with the whole casino thing. Like, just like it fucking pissed me off that he settled down with that broad.
Yeah, but like, how are you not going to be pissed at Henry for like fucking ratting out his entire? To be fair though, one of the best scenes of any movie of all time is whenever they're cooking dinner in jail, and they're slicing the garlic and everything with the razor blade. Yeah, that was my favorite.
That's a pretty valid question. How could I side with some dude that was like
they picked up a
down
girl
with the wrong broad over a snake?
Yeah, dudes do anything over some crazy bitches, you know?
He was just like that, like when his wife, eventual wife, like when she's talking about like the lifestyle that she got attracted to, like he walked in, people walked out of the way. Like, that's the type of fucking dude I want to be. I don't want to be this dude running the casino, this broad's out banging her pimp behind my back. Like, I don't want to be a fucking snitch neither, but like,
that's true. I hated James Woods. I just have a problem with him.
Yeah, he's got a punchable face.
Yeah, he really does.
I mean, he just like, he's an asshole.
He is in the best vampire movie ever created, which is John Carpenter's Vampires.
Okay,
it's real good.
I'll have to peep that.
All right, so second category. Do you read?
Yeah, I'm actually a pretty big reader.
Are you?
Surprisingly.
See, you got all full of all kinds of surprises.
Yeah, I like read a lot when I was young. Not so much junior high and high school, but I started reading a lot again in college, and then like still read a lot now.
So, what are 3 books that you would take with you?
Definitely 1984.
Okay,
it's like my favorite book.
I've never read that one. That's one that I've like never read.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It goes into the whole Big Brother thing. Like, I really like future dystopian novels.
Yeah.
So it's like apparent that's
like The Giver. Did you like The Giver?
I love The Giver.
That was one of my favorites.
I really like Brave New World too.
I didn't read that.
That's Aldous Huxley. That was another one we had to read in school. Dope book. But like, I take 1984 over all those.
Okay.
Did you watch the Giver movie?
Yeah.
I thought that was dope.
Yeah, I thought it was
It's hard to
good.
take like a book that good and cram it into like 90 minutes, but I thought they did a good point.
I don't set any like bar with that. Yeah,
especially it's
like,
too difficult too.
You know, like I read like I Am Legend probably like 6 or 7 years before the movie came out.
Oh no shit.
And you know, I was like, oh fuck, like I Am Legend. I've read this book, and the movie I thought was terrible compared to the book because like it was 2 different movies. But I went into it thinking like this is going to be as good as the book, and then it ruined it for me because like there was vampires in the book, but these things in the movie were like fake vampire zombie creature.
I would definitely classify them more as zombies than vampires.
And like in the movie, in the book, it was so dope because like, you know, it had a different feeling of like old classic vampires, you know, like I'm just like a horror movie, like, you know, I'm just very, very like stick to what I like.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, The Giver I thought was a good movie though.
Yeah. I mean, like, I definitely had an experience where at one point I had expectations for books that turned into movies, disappointed. So I didn't have expectations going into it. Take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
like
The Hunger Games, I read that.
Oh yeah,
and the book was great, but I thought the movie was great too.
Yeah, I mean, from what I heard, general consensus is that they executed it well.
Yeah, it wasn't. It could have been way worse. Like they fuck up way more. But like I've never read the Harry Potters, but everyone says that they're fucking unreal compared to the movies. There's so much shit in there and everything.
Yeah,
you read all them?
Yeah, she's a really good writer. So it's like I like reading more to some extent because like I can visualize it.
Yeah.
movie, it's like something I've already read. I have my own envisionment
Exactly.
on it, and then like someone's telling you their.
But people could beat that to death, like fucking Stephen King. Like I can't read 45 pages about what is being described on a kitchen table. Like I'm just done with that.
I hear you.
But like I get.
I
what
really
you're
like
saying, too.
Thinner, but
I never read that.
it's dope.
The movie Thinner.
That movie is mad weird. He's getting like roadhead. And
Super
shit. Like,
weird
yeah,
movie.
It's
Such a bizarre movie.
It's a good book though, because like the book is way scarier than the movie.
Yeah, I mean like
The movie to me was just like corny.
It
But,
was
like,
very,
they talk
very
about
weird.
the fucking gypsies and shit.
Yeah.
Also, honorable mention. Speaking of gypsies, to Snatch. I love that movie.
oh my, it's right up there. So
I
good.
love that movie. Back to books though. So like 1984.
Yeah.
I'll do one series.
Okay.
Actually, if I was a dick, I'd probably say like a set of encyclopedias. Because like I just would like to learn random shit. And
That's a
that'd
good
be,
answer.
Like, endless. I won't say that. It would be between Harry Potter and Harry Potter Loses to a Series of Unfortunate Events.
Oh, is that fire?
I loved those books growing up. I've reread them like recently prior to the Netflix series coming out.
Yeah.
I always really liked them. Like I love Harry Potter too.
Antoinette refuses to watch it. Makes me sick.
Oh really?
She's fucking insane, dude. Like
She liked the books that much. She doesn't want to ruin it.
no,
Or
she
didn't?
didn't like it at all. She doesn't.
Oh, okay.
She's like, I ain't fucking watching spells and all that weird shit. And I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind.
Wait, Harry Potter or?
Harry Potter.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Series of Unfortunate Events.
I'm sorry, but she probably wouldn't watch that either
Probably not.
because she's fucking weird.
Nah. Harry Potter is, at least for me, when I was younger, a much more difficult read
Oh yeah.
than a Series of Unfortunate Events, mainly in length and just like one of those things where like maybe at times a little bit too much detail.
Yeah.
I don't want to say filler because it added imagery.
Yeah, but
like,
it was just like a little bit excessive sometimes.
yeah, I mean, there's parallels there that definitely drew me to both. Like orphans in both situations, Harry and the kids in a Series of Unfortunate Events. But like,
Yeah.
there was also this mysterious aspect of Lemony Snicket,
Yeah.
who wrote those books, but was also the narrator of the books and like making it seem like actual events that had transpired that like maybe I just hadn't read anything at that time that was like that, but was like really groundbreaking and cool to me at that point.
It's pretty wild.
Like, yeah, I love writing. Like, I used to write a lot when I was a little kid. I still do. Like, at work, I have some downtime. Like, I used to do like kind of like fake articles about my boy from work's 7-year-old son's t-ball team and shit. Like, I'll forward them to you. They're cut up, but
That's
like,
funny.
they circled around like his department, like to like higher ups and people that like shouldn't be reading this like shit, but they thought it was funny. And I actually got like job opportunities from writing these stupid little cut up emails.
That's
and
what's
them
up
going
there.
to, like higher ups and stuff. They were like, oh, this dude can kind of write. But last book, so that's my series book. Man, this is gonna be the books are probably gonna be the toughest for real. But I'd probably go with. I used to read like all the books the Dalai Lama used to read.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I've worked on it, but a pretty bad like temper to
Yeah?
some degree. Like I would just bottle shit up and just like explode.
I went to anger management.
I never did.
I did. It definitely helped.
So like a lot of those books and like just trying to like find myself, that type of like, liberal college
Yeah.
bullshit. Like,
Enlightenment.
I'm so enlightened.
Quest
yeah.
for enlightenment.
Yeah, but like I've read like
I mean, if it
the
helps,
the 3 pillars of wisdom, or like the 3 pillars of Zen, the 7 pillars of wisdom, that shit, like those books, like,
and it
those
helps
shit-
you out.
Yeah, but honestly, the one I'm gonna go with that's like in that realm that helped me out the most was probably the Tao of Wu by
Okay.
the RZA.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Actually, Goldsmith Seth gave me that book back in the day, dude, and like
I've never read it, but I know that it's worth reading.
it like RZA talks a lot in there about like getting off the path, getting back on in it, like talking a lot about smoking sherm,
Yeah.
getting wet. Not that that's something I can like align with, but like, you know, there's a good message behind it, even though if it was like mainly bullshit.
Yeah.
It was like read it for like the 6th time to help get my life back on track, and then like he's talking about how he found himself, and then like 2 weeks after I read that, he like blacked out drunk on stage and like
Oh yeah,
fell
kind
over.
of.
You know, so it was like, damn, dude, I'm taking advice from this guy now. But
I loved him in Californication.
I've never watched Californication.
It was good.
I'll have to check it out. You're not the first. Oh, honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Hyena and Hummingbird by Jude Angelini, aka Rude Jude.
Okay.
Like once I get them back from my boys, I'll lend those to you. Do you know who Rude Jude is?
No.
All right, he was on Jenny Jones' show back in the day. He's from Pontiac, Michigan, but by Detroit.
Okay. Yeah.
Then he was on Shade 4-5.
All
Out Show.
That Rude Jude?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know exactly who that is.
Yeah, and he's just a super interesting person. Like Hyena's the first book, and they're like memoirs. They're easily digestible. Chapters are a few pages long if like people weren't big readers. But the first one's about him like fucking his way through a breakup, and like dude just sips mad GHB, which is are you familiar? It's classified as like a date rape drug.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Sips that. It's just like mad ketamine and shit. Like,
That's insane.
he does like science drugs, he calls them.
I'll definitely read it.
They're great. And then the aspect of Hyena is like, you know, hyenas are laughing, like not necessarily when things are funny. Like they're laughing because they're about to like
Fuck
devour
something
an
up.
animal. Where
Yeah.
like you're gonna be laughing at this book, but like there's like so much fucked up shit and pain in it. It's just like great. Something like most
I would
people
definitely
can
read
relate
that.
to. Yeah, it's great. And then Hummingbird was his second book, and it's great too. Like I read both of them just like in a day.
I have to read.
Easy reads.
I have so much shit that I need to read. Like I have, you know, Aubrey Marcus's book. I got Robin Williams' book.
Oh man,
and like
Beat up.
that's what I'm trying to go to.
He's a
next.
compelling writer. Like his life's just like, if you ever thought your life was like
Yeah, I'll definitely grab
disorganized, disoriented, like yeah, read that book, you'll feel much better.
it. I'll fuck with that.
Yeah, it's dope.
All right. Now, last question is
TV shows.
no. The hardest part for you probably is music.
Oh man, yeah. Like we're not taking discographies either. We're taking albums.
Yeah, just take an album.
Fuck man. I could probably do this for each genre of music that I enjoy, which makes it really tough.
Yeah, but this is just three CDs.
I know, and I'm sorry, I'm pulling out my phone. I have to.
That's
look
fine.
through
Go
this
ahead.
right now. I'm gonna take Illmatic for sure.
Okay.
Nas is like my favorite rapper of all time. That album was like majorly like influential on me. It's like when I was really getting into hip hop, and like I said, I grew up on like radio rap, and then got into like the new era stuff.
Yeah.
And then like what we were saying before with like sneakers and Nike Talk, I wanted to know what the fuck I was getting into.
Yeah, what people were talking about.
So like I really did my studies and history lessons on hip hop, and like that was like one of the first albums where it was like I'm getting into this shit. I'm on message boards and stuff. It's like Illmatic's the best album of all time. I listened to that and it was like a rap, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck man, you're right. This is really difficult.
Yeah, it's real difficult because like it's obviously something that you're into, and it's probably
It's what I'm most into.
yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
you know what it sucks is like I was talking to Jerm. I was like, you know, you listen to music a different way than I listen to music.
Yeah.
Like the way I explained it is like I taste like a soup, and you taste every different ingredient of the soup.
Yeah, you know, and that's like what's cool about a lot of albums and like going back and re-listening to them from like maybe when I first listened to them.
Yeah.
Is like I'm listening to them differently now.
Yeah,
And there's
differently.
times I'm more analytical of the music and I'm like really listening to like the chops or like
Or it's, I'm sure there's times where you're just fucking bumping
listening
Gucci
to-
Gang whenever it's on.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 2 would probably be Operation Doomsday by MF Doom. I love MF Doom. MF Doom's one of my favorite rappers and one of my favorite producers. That dude's so talented. He's such an enigma. He has so many different stories. He's the fucking supervillain. He sends out imposters to perform for him and shit. Like, you might not get the real MF Doom. Like,
That's crazy.
so ill, man. Like, crazy backstory. But yeah, Operation Doomsday, and I don't. Back to Reality, Soul to Soul mixtape. Honorable mention, probably. Honorable mention is either Election Day, the GOV, or Purple Haze Cameron.
All right. I thought you were gonna put in a Temptations album.
No, that's another one of those things, like, up there with White Men Can't Jump kind of thing. Know all of that.
I feel what you're saying.
All that shit. Like, I would be more inclined to put in like a Prince CD. So, something like that.
Yeah, you're definitely full of interesting things.
My aunt was like a big Prince fan, and like I always wanted to like. I thought it was their interests were cool,
dude. Prince was he was taken a certain way, but like the dude was I guess the dude had like a feminine, like, people thought of him as like being a feminine guy and shit like that, but this motherfucker was the meanest on guitar.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
bitches love him. It was just like sex appeal.
It's My Guitar Gently Weeps, like that. The live video of him online, like the dude is.
There's only two things you can ooze. What are they?
Ooze?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Pus and sex appeal. Creed brand. But yeah, that was that dude. Prince was that dude.
All right. So you got them. All right. Now the second to last question: the death row meal.
Fuck.
You can go to different places too. Germ had a little. Germ and Battle Monkey went everywhere.
Oh man, damn. Well, I'm definitely fucking with hooks.
Okay.
Shit, bro. I don't know. I'd probably just be good off hook. I wouldn't be able to eat.
But I know you're about to be dead.
Yeah, like
it's fucked up. People are like, dude, out of this,
I'd probably want like a good bottle of alcohol more than I would like
100%. I don't even drink, but I would face a bottle of something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to know what's going on. I would just, it's a fucked up time.
I can't even imagine.
All right, so just hooks. Shout out hooks.
Hooks. What else, bro? Oh, Agave. That was this Mexican spot my boy's dad owned on 286 and Plum that was banging.
Agave. Shout out Agave.
I try to plug. Della Cella's Pizza, actually, number one over all that best pizza in Pittsburgh.
Where's it at?
Like Verona, Rosedale.
I've had it, I think. I'm pretty sure I
grew up with Anthony Della Cella.
It's pretty
one
good,
of the
huh?
sons. Best pizza in the fucking world, dude.
All
Sicilian cut. They got a sign up. They got the old-timey cash register. They got a sign that says, the banks don't accept pizza. We don't accept credit. Shit like that. Like, dope. Super good family. Grew up playing soccer.
I want to make Antoinette take me.
The best, dude. The best. Like, I know it's outside the city lines and shit, but it's the best pizza.
Who gives a fuck? All right.
What else? I'm trying to like hit everything. Brighton Hot Dog Shop.
Oh yeah, fuck with that.
I'm trying to think of like my family's favorite places. I'd want something that like reminds me of each family, because I'd obviously want excruciating pain before I died. So Brighton Hot Dog Shop, my grandparents loved that. We used to go up to like Cranberry all the time for like stupid shit, and we'd always stop there.
Those are some good picks.
Yeah, man.
Brighton Hot Dog Shop. That's good stuff.
I think like where my grandma would just. So I'll say McDonald's for my grandma. It wouldn't be food. It would be a cold or like frozen mocha latte or something.
Oh yeah.
Or like mocha latte. She gets those like every day. She's like,
into
I like get on her about like drinking water. She like won't feel well. It's because like she only drinks coffee like all day.
I'm pretty bad with it. That's why like I grabbed water today because it was so fucking hot.
Yeah,
and it's just like I'm usually a big coffee drinker though, but that's what's up though.
How about my sister? Where would she want to go? She'd want to go somewhere just bougie just because it's expensive. I don't know. Ponderosa for fucking short.
Man.
Ponderosa wings with the hooks wings.
Wow, Ponderosa.
Hosses, something from Hosses. Well, my brother-in-law.
That's what I was just thinking about was Hosses.
We just went there like last Sunday. Like,
is there one open?
Yeah, Murraysville.
Really?
Hosses.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, Hosses and Ponderosa.
There was a Ponderosa for a grip in Butler by Clearview Mall. Because I saw it one time when I was at Slippery Rock, and I went to Clearview Mall. I don't know if it's still there.
I never heard about that.
Yeah. Where else? Roy Rogers chicken. I'm just picking all the chicken spots, but yeah. I mean, I guess that's cool.
All right. Last question.
Yup.
If you could talk to anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
My grandparents, for sure.
Okay.
They're just the illest. They're the greatest people ever. Like, they took me out of potentially bad situation, gave me like the best life I could ask for. You know, like we didn't have all the money in the world, but it was better than that. You know, my pap's just like,
I respect that,
the
dude.
best person ever. My grandmother's like the sweetest person. I constantly run into, excuse me, and this means more to me than anything else. I'm constantly running into my friends' parents, and they're constantly telling me,
gassing up
even still, like, you know, it's always been that way, and I've always just said,
are they going to listen to this?
Really like, nah, probably not.
Okay.
It doesn't. They're just great, you know, like.
Well, some people's grandparents are all on Facebook. Like my
grandparents aren't. Nah, they're not like that. My pap doesn't have a cell phone. My grandma got the flip phone.
Yeah, Antoinette's dad still don't got a cell phone.
Really?
Still don't got one.
Yeah, I mean, like, my grandparents are, they grew up like near each other in the Glen Hayes projects. My whole family's from either, like, all grew up in Glen Hayes projects together, and then my other family's all from Lorimer. Like, to go as far back as I know. They all, like, all my great aunts and uncles, like, all grew up together, like, all got married, like, not ancestrally. You know, like, let me clarify that shit. But, you know.
You know, you want to know what's weird? Yeah. Is my mom had 6 brothers and sisters, or 5. My dad had 5 or 6, and they were all from the same high school.
Yep.
All came up together.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just very...
It's dope. Yeah, I got Uncle Ducky, Uncle Binky, Uncle Inky, like, all these wild... Uncle Beansy. Like, yeah, dope name. Like,
that's what's up, though.
You know?
You gotta fuck with a nickname.
You know, and my mom was doing her. You know what I mean? She had other priorities.
Yeah.
My dad got killed when I was like a year and a half old, which, Jesus. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, as a kid, you can't like fully process this shit. These are just the people you're raised on. You start to get older, you feel like a burden. You don't have like a lot of self-worth. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know if I'd have that in me. They just got done raising like 2 kids. Now they got to take care of their grandson, and not to mention, like,
that's your mom's parents.
Yeah, because if you look at my dad's obituary, it's like, it's kind of funny the way it's worded, because it's like it's cut up. It's survived by his wife, my older sister, my actual half sister, and then best friend, my mom's name, and then son, Anthony Bowser.
Oh my
ultimate side chick shit. Like,
jeez.
Best friend. Yeah. So, like, you know, I mean, they weren't like probably super happy that, one, my mom got pregnant out of they're old school. They're strict.
For sure.
Got pregnant out of wedlock, and then like my dad was also married with a family.
For sure.
He was a gangster. He was a biker dude, you know what I mean? He ran with the crowd, and, that shit happens. When you're a kid, you just think of it as like...
you don't even, like, realize it,
I'm sure. I'm missing
like,
out on a father. Like, no, dog, that shit would have been mad fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it with my other cousins and stuff, like, their life, because it's...
It didn't go that way for them, and it's
Yeah,
kind of like got strung along with it.
Yeah, and, like, that's what my life would be.
Yeah.
In and out of prison, on and off of dope, shit like that. But nah, I had the two greatest people in the world pull me out of a shitty situation and give me the best life possible, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the best.
And like, I don't even know if I'd have that in me. But my pap went back to work. You know what I mean? He was retired. He went back to work to take care of me.
Yeah, dude.
You know, like my grandmother, I'm sure, had other fucking shit to do.
Yeah, especially like, like after raising other kids and then coming back and like...
Especially raising my fucking mother. She's the younger of the two. She's a fucking knucklehead, dude. Like, I love her. But she's fucking
probably
out
wasn't
there,
the
dude.
easiest
She's a
to
space
raise.
cadet. Yeah, and like...
Man.
I'm fairly similar.
That's dope, though.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably go on for another 3 hours about how they're the greatest people in the world.
Yeah,
but
that's who I would talk to, dude. I would talk to my grandfather because, like,
and they're both still alive.
He passed away whenever I was in 9th grade, and like, it was like before I became the man that I am, and like I want to talk to him as like who I am now.
Yeah,
and I would give anything in the world to just be able to talk to him.
I would add my uncle in there too. Because he did pass away, and he was like a second dad to me. And it's just like, it's weird because I'm like living in that house now.
Yeah,
and like you still feel his presence, and it was just like,
oh, I'm sure.
He coached me in all of my sports. Him and my aunt were always there, and he gave me that. He transferred that McKee sport pride into me about being from Plum. And, it was just so weird. Like, he was just like, he passed away at like 57, like 55, started having like seizures. And then,
really?
Lewy body dementia and shit. And like, just like,
that's fucking,
it's
so
much. Yeah. But, like, you never die of the thing that's killing you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You die of a complication of it. So he died of a heart attack. Now, what if he, you think, like, what if he died at 57 from a heart attack anyways? Like, what if that happened anyways?
Yeah.
If he didn't come down with this Lewy body dementia? Well, like, man, trying to find the silver lining or put it in perspective, he might have. Because he got that Lewy body dementia, everything like that, like, I got to, like, make peace with it while it was happening. I got to, like, still see my uncle as my uncle.
Yeah.
And like get to spend that time with him that like, I might not have made the effort to, like, if it just would have happened.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying like always to find that perspective.
The glass half full.
Yeah, put it in the...
You have to, dude, because there's so much bad shit in this world.
You know what I mean?
There's so much bad shit, and anywhere you look, it's either going to be darkness, or you could try to see what's good about it, because, like,
look, we can all bitch about our lives.
All of us. And,
but, like, look how privileged and fortunate we are.
Exactly, dude. And that's what I was just going to say. Like, we could all bitch about shit that's happening right now, but, like, we're all fucking, even if you ain't religious, blessed, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Absolutely. It's just like, it's just, we're fortunate enough for it. But I appreciate you coming on here.
I appreciate you having me.
This was a very good conversation.
I enjoyed it.
All right, take a second, promote anything you want to promote.
Oh man, right now, my last album I dropped was called Travel Through. It's with Momad Nadon. You can find it on all platforms. SoundCloud, YouTube, Tidal, Apple Music, Spotify.
I'll link everything in the description below as well.
Yeah, I'm working on a lot right now. Stay tuned. Probably next month or so, probably first quarter. Probably drop a few visuals, things like that single the last quarter of this year, getting ready for the actual release. So stay tuned.
Plug the Instagram.
Billy_Hoyle. That's HOYLE 412. I spell it because Brick always spells it like royal. Hoyal. So
That's
yeah,
dope, though.
Billy. Same with Twitter. Don't find me on Facebook, but yeah.
All right. As always, I appreciate everyone listening to our long ass talks.
Yeah, thank you.
About random
Appreciate
shit.
you.
Follow me on social media at I'll Call You Right Back on Instagram, at ICYRB Podcast on Twitter. I'll Call You Right Back on Facebook, YouTube, Apple Music, whatever the fuck you look. I'll call you right back at gmail.com. Email me, tell me what you like, tell me what you dislike, tell me who you want on here. Call me a piece of shit, whatever you want to do. But I appreciate you listening. I'll call you right back.